Fuck those strawberry burritos. All right, my guy's looking good
everybody. Hi, welcome to the show.
I just had to swim around the
That's Video Games
island.
Oh.
The all-new
Yeah, it's the best way. So when you're locked out of the gym, you can swim the game muscle.
Should we rebrand
and
the
burn
podcast? Rename the podcast to
So I've been like, yeah, real life, VR, dude.
No?
Meta,
Should
real
this
life.
have lyrics?
Me and CJ are tied together. No, I had to spend real time.
What's up? What's up?
For simulated time. I had to exchange real time for simulated time. And look, CJ's looking a lot better.
A little
He's almost perfect.
A
little bit.
I think he looks like best.
Hi, what's
a
going
little
on?
bit more muscle.
It's
I think
October
just a little
21st,
bit more muscle.
We're here.
You
We're
lost
video
girlfriend
gaming.
yet?
I did.
Oh.
Oh, and that was the other thing. I should have done the girlfriends as
we're
I
in the
did
middle of the new release
missions.
season.
They make
There's
the
been
game a
lot
lot
of stuff
easier.
coming out.
There's ones that when you die, you keep all your
that's
weapons
been
and stuff.
exciting. New,
I was like,
new hardware,
OMG, I wish I would have known.
Newish hardware. It's weird.
And you can tell because as the areas open up, there's girlfriends, but I didn't. I just ignored
the
it.
last week or so.
Didn't mess with it. Well, I didn't even know. I saw the. I didn't know there was other girlfriends.
Some of the strangest.
So I should have looked it up.
Yeah.
But I was too
some of the
busy
strangest things.
doing other stuff and trying to finish the story mode.
And we'll get into all of that, of course.
Vice City.
Vice City.
Yeah.
Happy Once Upon
Florida's
a Time
calling,
release week. To everyone out there, that game's out on Friday. That's is it Friday? Is the third? I should know.
All right, get.
It's out Friday. It's out Friday. Maybe Thursday night in some parts of the.
So, but it's all right. I'm collecting oysters at the same time. So.
But yes,
which raises my sex
in a few days here. So. My son is asking every single day. Is that tomorrow? As I know, it's Friday. Is tomorrow Friday? No.
I can't believe that's a true story.
Absolutely not.
His son is hooked on Katamari Damacy.
I suspect
like he really likes it.
He might be able to play that game pre-release. I don't know. That might. I know a guy. But we'll see how that all comes together. If he's a good boy, it's picture day at his school. So the other day he decided to run out of the classroom, which you can't do that.
What?
You can't do that, man. So we came home and it'd be like, you can't. No video games, dude. You do not. Don't.
That's
do that.
shit I would have done. though. Just got up and walked out.
Which he understood, though. Anyway, hopefully he's
get up and walk out.
Hey,
where are you going?
I lost the kid just the other day.
I have to get to a point where it's like, if it ends up getting to a point where it's like, now I need to play this new game because I'm covering it, but you're not allowed to because you've been a bad boy. That is the worst case scenario in all of that entire situation. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe next week I'll let you know.
APB.
My principal was walking down. She's like,
I'll let you know what he thinks of the new.
What the hell? Come on.
You walked out of my room.
Like family games.
Owen is. He's like, Owen?
Yeah. That's been the only one that's really done it. Like sometimes the kids will sit down and they'll play, like Forza Horizon 5, and they'll just drive around, crash into stuff. And they seem to have a good time doing that, and then they'll change cars.
Liberal, woke, commies.
She's like, "It's my fault," and so
and that's been interesting. We tried Untitled Goose Game, and they like the idea of it, but I think the two of them are not quite sophisticated.
Should have had to check them out.
Problem solving.
No, with the serial number, the AirTag. Kids should all have AirTags on them by now. What? Think I'm playing?
Goose such a dick.
And their teeth.
Want to take the man's
but
shoes?
AirTag, you know exactly where they are. Just look up on your computer display.
I don't have a great
Mrs.
answer
Mahar?
for you there, other than this goose.
Just ask Surrey.
I can't say this. Well, this goose sucks,
Where
and you are the goose.
Yeah, it
so think
should
about that.
actually, and I joke, but
It's like
yeah,
Grand
we
Theft
should
Auto.
be there by now
You have to play the bad guy
in that scary world. But that is a
sometimes.
scary world, I know. But like,
we've had a
yeah,
lot.
you should be
There's
able to
been a
ask
lot
the
of
AI
games.
where all the students are at in the
There's been
school.
a ton of games out here.
So,
I have a few.
but I guess
to
this
talk about
revolution
here.
is going to take
I'm gonna
longer
break.
than
We'll come back.
expected,
We'll
I
talk about
guess.
this walking simulator where you're a lighthouse that they made. They made a game, and you're a lighthouse. What can walk?
What?
And yeah, sure. Your guess is as good as mine, man. Be right back. Keeping an eye on the family budget. Where is the money
Walking lighthouse.
going?
What?
And where's it coming from? Sometimes you just need to know. And having another set of eyes on this stuff is more handy than you might think. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted
No, I was
subscriptions.
swimming in the ocean
It monitors
earlier,
your spending,
dude, and
it
like,
helps lower
I
your
never
bills
realized
so that
there's
you
waves
can grow your savings.
Yeah.
in the ocean. No, it gets scary. It does. It tingles some
Which is
weird
handy. You know, you can kind of
instinct in you.
and at a glance get a good
Like,
look at
ooh,
like, oh,
dude.
this pizza is starting to add up. It's a lot of pizza. This is not good. But it'll
That's a
also
little
tell you
scary,
things like,
bro.
hey, you know, your phone bill went up last month. Your phone bill is creeping up. What's going on?
Look at
And that is my question. What is going on?
It's
Rocket
much more
Money
college.
can also
Yeah,
help
yeah, that's
find
perfect.
and
No,
That's a
adjust
dorm room.
small, but
those
look at it.
subscriptions.
Yeah.
No, she's
With their
you
premium
see her
features,
side
you can
with the
tell
sick
Rocket
and
Money,
sick
hey,
on.
Yeah.
you're right.
No, that's perfect.
My
Like,
phone bill,
that's
it's
much
too much
more
money.
good.
What's
Yeah,
can
looks
you
cute.
go
Like, that
work
is a
on that?
college one.
And they will
And
go
yeah,
off
the
and
other
will
ones are
negotiate
more.
with the people
It's
that,
because it
handle
was
your
like
phone bill
it does. It's a
and try
grad
to
student
negotiate a lower rate
apartment,
for
but
you.
they were
If
living
you've
in it
got
like
unwanted
freshman girls.
subscriptions
Like,
in
You
your
know what I
life,
mean? So
Rocket
it's
Money
almost
can
in
help
between.
yeah,
cancel
so
those.
no,
Same deal.
that's
You know, you
just-
give them
that's
some
much more
information
Yeah,
about the account,
super cute.
Yeah.
and they will go off and do what
Super
they can to
duper
cancel
cute.
it, which is super handy. Rocket Money has saved me money on a satellite radio subscription, which was it's hundreds of dollars that were saved there, as well as other phone stuff and just like a variety of things. And it's been really handy for that too. That stuff's been great. It's just been really nice to be like, oh, okay. Like I don't necessarily have the time to wait on the phone to try to get a thing and cancel it or do this or do that. And you know, Rocket Money will handle that. So you can get about the business of doing business with your life. You know? You got a handy dashboard that'll lay out your entire financial picture. Let you know if you got bills coming up due in the next week or so. You know, if you got recurring bills that always happen around the same time, it'll be like, hey, your gas bill is due, your electricity. They're gonna shut off your, you know, like it'll let you know what's going on, and when money is supposed to be coming your way as well. Like, hey, payday's coming up. Like, oh, okay, great, handy. You can set up custom budgets. It'll let you know about money in, money out, all of that, and do it all pretty automatically, which is really handy. I don't know, like, you know what? Are you slaving away over a hot ledger at night, entering by hand your payments, your payments due, and all that stuff? No, don't do that. Rocket Money has saved users over $2.5 billion, including over $880 million in canceled subscriptions alone. Their 10 million members save up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. That's savings right there. Plus alerts and all this other stuff to help you stay on top of this stuff. Money's weird, man. Rocket Money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/JeffG today. That's rocketmoney.com/JeffG. rocketmoney.com/JeffG. Keeper is out. It's the new game from Double Fine. Here's a weird question before we get into the game itself. Did you know that Double Fine was putting a game out? Did you know that Double Fine had even announced a game? I'm finding that there is a lot of people that like the game got announced, I believe, at Gamescom, if not Summer Game Fest. But
What is
they
GTA?
did show it. There was a trailer. There's been a couple of little things about it.
Why is there a rainbow down there? Why is there a rainbow in front of me, bro?
This release really snuck up on me, like it
Is there a
coming
pot
out.
of gold?
I remember that they announced it, and I was like, "What is this? What a walking
Oh, it's
lighthouse?
going away. No,
What the
rainbow's
hell
gone.
is going on with these people?
Maybe it was just an illusion.
Get it together. Get it together, guys. What are you even doing?" But the game shipped. The game came out last week, and the release date was extremely like it just sort of snuck up on me. I was like, "Oh, this thing's out already? What?" Like, it just felt like nothing, like not a lot of people had spent a lot of time talking about it, and it just sort of dropped. But Keeper is actually Keeper is a really wonderful thing. It's short. It's short. It's maybe like 5-ish hours. I would say start to finish. It's how much is it on Steam? Like $30, I think, is what it is. And yeah, it's 30 on Steam. And it's a trippy little thing, man. The game opens, there's a bunch of birds, and a weird swarm of creatures kind of separates one of the birds from the rest of the birds. That bird comes to rest on a lighthouse, which naturally makes the lighthouse fall over and then sprout legs and start walking. And it's a story about a bird and a lighthouse, fast friends who set off on an adventure. And you are...
I'm gonna have to get out of the water.
Controlling primarily the lighthouse.
Okay.
As you are walking around the environment, you control the light on the lighthouse, so it can kind of look around. You can focus the beam. It's not a combat game. It's really, like you're not fighting stuff indirectly.
But yeah, I guess I caused the glitch by going without eating too long.
You are walking around. And,
it messes up some kind of timer or something.
That light on certain things
so
to solve puzzles. The bird
even though I'm not hungry right now, the game's reading it, but I don't have the energy to work out.
Seeing like these really.
And it won't fix or something until because basically the game wants you to eat every couple days
with some very surreal environments and creatures and everything kind of happening
when you starve
you
starve yourself to drop all that muscle or something when you go without eating for so many days and then save it or something.
And they freak out or there's a lot of cute interactions.
Okay, where's the dam, bro?
Happening along the way here with a lot of weird little guys. One of the first things that you encounter is a tree with a face on it, and the tree needs eyes. The face needs eyes, and so you have to go solve some puzzles to get some balls. You can send the bird off. You don't just fly the bird around at will, but it'll there will be a highlight in the environment that says hey, here's a thing you can pick up. You push the button, the bird goes over, picks it up, brings it back to your lighthouse. You carry the eyeball back to the tree man. The bird puts it in his eye sockets. Like that. You're not necessarily doing a bunch of Again, it's not like an action game. You're walking around. You're interacting with puzzles. You're turning cranks. You're moving things around. You're trying to get doors open. You're finding eyeballs and medallions and hanging them in the right place.
And Jaylene was asking.
It's that sort of thing.
You wanted to on Thursday drop the offer.
A couple of times it reminded me of a Myst or something, but it's not confusing. It is very light puzzle solving. You are walking around kind of doing your thing and interacting with stuff to watch it jump and looking at it.
I was even thinking it's probably good when
I've never seen anything like this.
Me dropping her, not being there.
But in terms of
you know what I mean? For Izzy, it makes Izzy act differently and all that.
Blocks in your path. Right,
just a different whatever you want to call it.
Here's a puzzle. You should solve this before you move on.
And I mean, and that's what Jaylene said. She's
the game is really good at knowing exactly how long.
Yeah, it means I have to take you to work. But that's it's work.
In terms of how many times it's going to have you perform similar puzzles.
It's worth it for her.
On your quest to kind of solve this kind of
short-term time with your cousins.
This town is crazy. Surely we can fix this. Okay, I need to go over here. I need to go over here. I need to go over here. Bring this back to here and do this. And by the time you get to a point where you're like, I got it.
So
I know how to do like this puzzle. Like,
Like,
it's
like
not. You don't need to throw
Jade's
more of these at
Izzy's
me.
4,
I've got this shit on lock right here.
3, 2
It
or
goes,
3.
Yeah,
All right,
cool. You're never going to see that again. Now go over here. And doors open,
Right.
goes over
Perfect.
here.
Yeah,
You're
no,
into an entirely new thing.
Yeah.
And so it is. And there's not. I don't want to get into kind of specifics for just because I think uncovering this stuff for yourself and seeing it for yourself is really a really good part of this trip. But I will say there is, for a game that people are going to describe as you are a lighthouse walking around, you do a lot more too. And it's
Lighthouse
really
walking.
awesome as it starts to spread its wings a little bit and kind of show you more stuff and give you, just additional mobility and things. Just as you kind of just see the different types of things the game will throw at you. It's never like it is never a big timing based thing. You're not like, I'm on a race against the clock to push this button before the door shuts.
Is it still shut down? I think so. No, I told Buzz, like, yeah, that's good though. Let it.
And I think it's kind of
I
really
told
cool
him, man, when that first happened, it was a huge deal. Everybody freaked out.
The lighthouse is very expressive for a lighthouse.
No, I.
But like, no one even is really noticing now.
But, like, the eyebrows on the lighthouse's light, I guess, is what you would say.
Important.
Do a great job of conveying
government shutdown. SNAP benefits.
The friendship with the bird and little emotion.
Oh, see, that's why they're doing it, because the poor people don't care. So now they're going to suspend.
Feel a thing or two.
And then all of a sudden, the poor. Oh wait, what? The government shut down.
I was like, oh.
Because I even saw something on Lacey's page or so. Yeah, the army already knows. And they're all pissy. They get pissy the minute it shuts down.
And it is,
So, but I think there's like things to do.
In the game whatsoever. And
NWR loans, different things like that.
And there's a soundtrack, and there's the noises
shut down
of the
food
weird
benefits, huh?
little freaks running around.
But basically, I think that they're having a standoff with Trump. I think I'm pretty sure.
And
over whatever it is.
It's funny, man.
But yeah, they're having a. But the government should be shut down. It's over budget. That's why it's shut down. Is because they spent too much money, or they're too much the debt, whatever reason. Yeah, dude,
the bird has a name.
Better cut some shit.
And sometimes it kind of goes back and forth.
So they'll cut SNAP benefits.
It says like bird or the bird's name, which is
and then fuck it.
Not some big spoiler. It's not like something. Oh my god, the bird.
It'll be all that. And the hospitals are already halfway not taking poor people, dude. Very reluctantly anymore, do they?
I have a dermatology appointment for January.
No,
that's
so yeah, dude, yeah. And that's for a baby.
It's funny.
And
for
a fucking baby.
Say, like, don't look at them until you finish the game. But the achievements.
So it's good. Yeah, it's getting ruthless out here, bro.
Have lore in
that's
them.
Fine. That's what they want.
Text has like names.
I think they literally are. They want to revel. They want the people, so then they can use that as an excuse. No matter what happens, in the end, they win. The rich will stay rich.
And where you just let your mind kind of fill in those blanks.
They just might be less rich, but they'll still be richer than us, dude.
Whatever, the adversary has a name, or it doesn't matter.
Like,
I played through it in like 2 sittings. I probably would have played through it in 1, but the PC version crashed.
Dude, I remember when welfare gave out cash payments.
so that kind of
you didn't just get food stamps. You got fucking money, dude. You got housing, food, and money. And then in the 80s, I think was the first. That was the Clinton reforms. Remember, he started.
I was surprised.
They still offer it,
and it is a surprising thing. Like I think it's really good that like around every corner,
I think the last I heard when I was down there,
I think there's a really
and maybe even talking to a dude or maybe a guy at work talking to. It's basically an emergency. Like you've got to be a woman or you got to have kids. You got to have like sole custody and you got to have kids and it's got to be a fucking emergency. And then there's all kinds of strings attached and supervision.
The lighthouse is that it can shine a light on stuff, and so you need to have like a decent lighting model in your game. And the light from the lighthouse looks pretty good.
Has to do,
but it is not some massive
classes.
Oh really? Yeah. So
this is also
this is okay. No free money here, Jay. No free lunches here, bro.
Not a billion games, but of the games I've tried to play on the ROG Xbox
and put in
the requirements
I cannot get people to run what I would call acceptably
I
well.
get it, dude. I get it.
That's not to say it is some massive
No, I get
heavy
it.
game.
I get it.
I looked into it when we were going through a hard time.
It doesn't seem like it, but you know, it does look nice.
I get it.
And it does have.
And I think they will. There's a thing.
Fun,
I think even for guys, you can get like an emergency. They might give you like 80 or 100 bucks, but you literally like have to be like homeless, like on the street, no job type shit.
Let's talk about.
Well, and even then,
you know, I was gonna say
that's not going to do anything.
We'll talk more about Keeper, I think, when we get to talking about.
No, that's not even. That won't even hardly get you a night. And so the next night you're homeless again.
Yeah.
So
they can't. So yeah.
Yeah.
Ball
and
X
then
Pit, if you will.
Groceries anymore.
And I have been playing quite a bit of that.
And how are you going to carry it if you're
homeless? It is a.
So yeah,
combination of we talked about this last week. There's a video up on YouTube of me playing it. If you would like to see that, it is a cross between kind of the Vampire Survivors kind of all like auto shooting survival game kind of deal. Except I guess you aim the balls, so it's not quite automatic, but it is like that type of run-based game where you are getting upgrades to your attacks and weapons and the different items and balls that you can get
I'm in the wrong
synergized.
spot.
So you're playing like an Arkanoid style, a breakout style game.
I am.
Whoa,
that was a long swim.
Go. And these bricks,
took a little bit of a swim. Took a little bit of the
shit popping out of them. And they are constantly marching down the screen. If they get to the bottom, they will damage you. If you get too close to them, they will damage you. And so you are constantly launching balls into the pit, if you will, and hitting these things to beat them before they beat you. They drop gems that give you XP, and then you are leveling up your balls, and you are leveling up the items, and sometimes the balls, when the balls reach max level, you can fuse the balls together to form more destructive balls and also make room in your inventory for more balls. Some of the balls have special evolutions where if you level up 2 of the right kinds of balls and fuse those together, you will get something even crazier. And then you can fuse those balls with balls on top of that, balls all the way down. There's an out of game experience where you are kind of like plopping down buildings and crops and stuff, and you are harvesting wheat and rocks and stuff to build more stuff in your environment, and you're unlocking characters that way. You're like, okay, I'm going to build this haunted house, and now we have the ghost guy, and so there is kind of that meta progression kind of stuff. And then there's a weird kind of breakout style thing where you're harvesting by launching balls into the harvest to collect it. And I don't think that stuff I don't love. I don't know. Like, as you can expand your territory and plop more things down. Like that part of the game is not really doing it for me. But the balls part of the balls is fantastic. When you're out there balling, it's a real good time. So I've been having a really good time with Ball Pit.
We got to do your bathroom stuff and clean it real good, and then put medicine.
Let's take one more break. We'll come back. We'll talk about Ninja Gaiden 4 because that's going to be. It's kind of it's a weird one. We'll come back. We'll talk about that real quick here. Let's just take this break. Are you trying to keep your stuff charged? Are you one of those people that is obsessively like, oh, my phone's at 80%. We need to get this charged up. It's annoying. It's frustrating to deal with. You've got how many different things? You've got like how many sets of headphones? You've got like your phone. You've got like a laptop. Are you rolling around with other USB charged devices at this point? I got handheld video, all this stuff. My watch needs to be charged. It's mania out there. And getting all of that stuff charged, especially if you're out and about, can be a real hassle. But hey, there's a new way. Thanks to Ridge. Just like Ridge revolutionized the wallet, Ridge is changing the game for portable charging. Ridge's 5-in-1 travel power bank has built-in cables It lets you charge all of your devices at the same time with just one thing, one power bank, no extra cables. It's got MagSafe wireless charging, an Apple Watch charger, Lightning, USB-C, every way you need to charge, all in one premium device. So no more juggling cables and adapters and wall outlets, all this other stuff, just to get a little bit of juice at the airport or something. It's got 20 watts of power, charges your phone as fast as it possibly can, and it's got a good capacity. 10,000. Is that milliamp hours? MAH? I have no idea. But it's the metric they use on all batteries.
Yeah, go on.
But you've got up to 3 full phone chargers in your pocket if you're rocking the fully charged Bridge power bank. That newest iPhone's out there now, you know? Make sure you get a power bank that actually keeps up with it. It's built to last. It's got free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty. This is the last power bank you'll ever need. They look good. They're available in colors. You get base camp orange, matte black. You got a matte olive. Something that, you know, I don't know, stands out a little bit. It'll easily tell you what its charge level is. It's got LED lights on it that lets you know exactly where it stands. It's got a kickstand if you need to look at your phone while it's charging. All of that stuff. And while you're over at Ridge, you can get a wallet.
Easy, Sid.
They got these
It's
slim,
there.
modern wallets that are built to last. Again, and it's the last wallet you ever buy. One thing to pack, 5 ways to power. You can find Ridge's power bank at Best Buy, or you can get 10% off at Ridge.com by using the code JeffG at checkout. Just head to Ridge.com and use the code JeffG, and you're all set. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Hey, support the show. Let them know that we sent you.
CJ, you made me feel so special.
Ninja Gaiden 4
Great fun.
is by Platinum Games, and it shows pretty much every step of the way. Like, this feels more like a Platinum Games game than a Team Ninja game.
Sometimes I just want to grab a man.
And it's got some neat ideas. I don't... Ninja Gaiden 4 does not work nearly as well as it seems like it should, and I feel like that's like whatever angle you're coming at it from, I think on both angles it kind of drops the ball a little bit. If you're coming at it from the I love Platinum games and I want to see a new Platinum game,
We had a plane crash over by the
it's
big
cool
ear.
in a lot of ways. I don't feel like they go far enough with it or do it enough with it to really make that stand out. It is, I think, better than some of the other recent
We'll do something again soon.
better than some other character action Platinum games, but it just kind of doesn't feel right. And then on the Ninja Gaiden, like, I think if you're coming at this from the angle of like a Ninja Gaiden purist, or you really like Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 or Black or whatever, I think that is where you're probably going to come away from it being sort of disappointed, because I really don't think that they've done a good job of like maintaining the legacy that these games have had. I'm not a Ninja Gaiden purist. I don't have a strong love for the franchise, I guess I should say. As it stands in modern times, like the original NES games, I love the arcade game. Motherfucker, a lot of people hate that arcade. Like a lot of people are like, oh, that arcade game is like, no, that game's rad. You can hang from light posts, you can hang from poles. It's fun. So like for me, like there's stuff in here where you're like, oh, dude, this is a Platinum game, but also you can do the Azuna drop. That's sick as fuck. Like that should be like, oh, fucking awesome. Like, but it just doesn't, like that stuff doesn't line up the way you want it to. The combat is challenging, but sometimes mashy, and like there's a weird mix there where it doesn't feel as like it gets difficult, but not in the ways that the original games did. It doesn't feel like it's like, hey, we've tried to put a fighting game's worth of thought into these encounters you're going to have. Not every encounter in the original Ninja Gaiden games are that, but you know, this feels light in some ways. You are unlocking new moves, and that's a whole weird process. But like there are combos, and there are things like to do the Azuna drop is like you have a light attack and a heavy attack, as one does. And so launching someone into the air is light heavy. You hit light, you hit heavy. It pops them up. You chase them up. You hit light, heavy. And that will trigger the Azuna drop, and they'll grab them, flip upside down, come crashing down. It'll damage enemies around you, and it's very satisfying. You're like, oh yeah, I did the thing, cool. But it's like you're kind of just mashing it out. You can't mash it out full speed. It doesn't buffer every single input, so you kind of have to like wait for those light attacks to hit in the air before you hit it. If you just mash it out, it won't happen. So there is a little bit of a timing component to it. It's got like 9 different ways to counter attacks, and like there's some of that is really interesting, and some of it is really exciting to interact with. Like unlike a lot of other modern games, parrying attacks in Ninja Gaiden 4 is done by you hitting an attack button, and so it creates a whole new level of risk that most other games don't do, because in most games parrying attacks is done by timing your block properly. And so if you fail to time your block properly, you are probably just going to block the attack instead of parrying the attack. Here, if you mistime your attack to parry their attack, you are getting hit. And so there is risk involved in, are you going to go for the parry at all? Or are you just going to block? But then they've layered systems and systems and systems where you've got the parry. You also have, so you have to time that really well to do it. And if you time it perfectly, you can do a follow-up. You can buy a follow-up attack that will happen after a parry. You can also time your block perfectly to basically, it's not a parry. It doesn't leave them as open as a parry does, but you block the attack and stun them, which opens them up a little bit as well. And so you can opt to time your blocks well. If you hit the block button while moving, instead of blocking, you will dodge. And if you dodge at the exact right time, it will leave a little shadow behind you, and it will be a perfect dodge. Which, as I'm saying that out loud, kind of sounds ridiculous that you've got all of these systems to kind of deal with incoming attacks, but it is interesting in the context. And also you can unlock follow-up attacks for each one of those options, to where like if you dodge mid combo because you're getting attacked from behind while you're attacking someone, if you do the dodge and you time it well, you basically can just like keep holding down the block button, and you can continue your combo after that dodge. These are all things you have to buy. There's a store that there's a dude, and you run into the dude, and he's like, "You want to learn some new moves, kid?" And you buy, these 17 moves. Like he doesn't have that many. And also, if you buy the extra expensive version of the game, the $90 version of the game, as opposed to the $70 version of the game, it comes with, it's the dumbest currency. It is the stupidest currency. You get, for the additional $20, in addition to some skins, you will also get 50,000 Ninja Coin. Ninja Coin, one word intercapped, so capital S, Ninja Coin. Sounds like the fucking lamest crypto fucking rug
That's
pull
what they're calling
you've
them.
ever heard of. Anyway, 50,000 Ninja Coin is enough to buy like 8 moves or something at the beginning of the game. And so, as you're getting used to the combat for the first time, as you're like going through the kind of tutorial early stuff, you then encounter this dude, and then it goes, "Here you go, here's 50,000 Ninja Coin." And you're like, "Oh, okay." But like all of these moves need to be practiced. And it does, when you buy them, it says, "Hey, do you want to try it out?" And you're like, yes, I do, because like there's specific timing involved. Like I want to make sure I get this right if I'm going to use it. And so I spent like a fucking hour unlocking a move, going into the training, doing the move, then going, okay, backing back out to the store menu, buying, like looking at the moves again. Sometimes buying a move will unlock a new move. And you're like, okay, well, I guess I should get the follow, because that's, if I do it with perfect timing, then it will do this and this. And so I go, well, now I got to practice this. And so like I found myself in like a training mode for like an insane amount of time, unlocking these moves because it gave me so much currency out of the gate. It's dumb. I finally just left. I'm like, I have like 30,000 ninja coin left, but I'm sick of fucking this. I want to go fight dudes. And so I just bailed on it and went and fought with the moves that I had. And that's ridiculous. Like it's a weird case. It's not that weird of a case, but you know, it's certainly happened before, but it's a weird case where like the thing you get for the expensive version of the game like kind of fucks up the pacing in sort of a weird way. But like at the end of the day, the rate at which you accrue ninja coin is such that you will have all of these moves relatively quickly. Each weapon also gains a currency or an XP, like there's you spend it. And so each weapon itself has moves. And so sometimes you'll finish a confrontation, it'll be like, you can afford a new weapon move. And that you don't have to talk to a dude about. You just go into a menu and say, let me do a thing. And those moves are interesting because they're like, you know, it's a fully 3D game, you're running around, but it still has moves like back forward attack or a 360 swirl on the stick and attack, which, you know, is kind of some of the stuff they did in some of those original games. Back forward attack is sort of a weird input when you don't know what angle you're going to be fighting from. And so it's kind of a strange feeling thing to do. It works out okay. It's not that big of a deal. And it's not that big of a deal because, like, dude, like, none of these moves, like, you just, I don't know. You can hold down the left trigger to turn into some kind of demon mode, and that drains a meter while it's active, but you have the ability to stuff people on their attacks. If you hit them while they're attacking, it will bust through the attack, they will be stunned, and you can, you know, land some additional combo hits. And then there's yet another meter that when that fills up, you can click in both sticks to go into berserk mode. And then when you're in berserk mode, you can also pull the left trigger to go into berserk mode with the other form. And then, like, they've layered on a lot of shit here without ever once telling you why you care about any of it. And I think that that's a kind of a downfall of the combat system. Where, you know, like if they wanted to have like early training, and they train you how to run on walls, and like you eventually unlock a grappling hook, and you know, like they train you how to play the game. But like you eventually just get all of these different moves, and you're like, I don't know why I care about any of these moves. Does this one open up? You know, and you'll find like, oh, okay, for formidable enemies, which is their term for like kind of more boss-like characters, that they will stuff your attacks unless you go into the pull trigger demon form and do this and this, and then you can stuff their attacks back. And so you do have reasons for using some of these things situationally. But altogether, I don't feel like this game gels. And I really don't, again, like I'm not precious about the early Ninja Gaiden games. But this feels like Platinum made a game, and then they said, dude, we should put the Azuna drop in this. That'd be sick. And they're right, it is. But it doesn't... Yeah, it just feels like that they've put a little... And it's a funny... It's one of those funny criticisms because, like, some people will be like, well, I want to have options. You're like, yeah, I mean, you have a lot of options, but I would argue that maybe you have, like, too many options. I haven't even gotten into like, oh, if you hold down the attack buttons, then you're going to charge up an ultimate attack and that will rush forward, and you can unlock a level 2 to that charge. You can unlock a thing to where when you're charging that, it will absorb orbs in the world, and that will cause it to charge faster. So if you charge an ultimate when you're near an orb, it will do that. You know, like there's... You know what I mean? I think it's got a nice look to it overall. The characters are weird, really light. Like you're kind of a grim, like, I'm gonna talk like this, and I'm approaching my target, and we're doing this, and I'm gonna assassinate this, and I'm a ninja. My name's Yakumo. I'm like, what?
Huh.
All right, Kokomo, let's get this done, buddy. Yeah. Surf and safari. John Stamos. And then everyone around you is like anime girl.
All right, ladies.
Oh, we're gonna do it. You know, like you go to and it made me kind of want a new Dead or Alive, because like the first character
you guys want to go outside?
Is this priestess you're supposed to be killing?
Don't want to? You don't have to. You've had a big day.
With instead, and she's
like
at
school all day.
Giant big boob anime lady, and you're like, man, they should make a new Dead or Alive. That was my first thought upon seeing big. But
yeah, I could tell her adjusting like this morning.
They should make
she was more confident, halfway looking. Then wouldn't even tell me goodbye, give me a kiss. She's like, see ya. Started walking in with her brother. Like, oh, okay.
And
I see we're getting used to it.
A lot of the characters are like lighthearted,
third time, fourth time,
in a way that's like.
Yeah, I got to see your friends.
I don't know, man. It sort of feels weird in the context of a Ninja Gaiden game, to have all of the other characters kind of be crappy. I don't know. Like it's a weird way to go about it. I think there's, and so that's the game, man. Like, but also like it's got some of the Platinum game stuff that I really like. Like, you get to the first boss fight, and suddenly the song that is playing has lyrics, and you're like, "Fuck, dude, yeah, yeah." And so there's like flashes of like, if not brilliance, then like well-made and satisfying video game action. Where you're like, "Cool, yeah," but like it doesn't coalesce for a long enough period of time for you to go, "Yeah, okay, yeah, no, this is a great game." And I think that's ultimately the problem with it. And I'm not saying that this game is trash. I'm not saying, like, whatever. This game's all right. Ninja Gaiden 4 is all right. But when we think about the heights of whether it's the franchise or the developer, I don't think it reaches either of those. And I actually think that in terms of, like, the legacy of Ninja Gaiden, if you care about that, this does not feel like one of those. It has pieces of it, and when you dig around, you scratch around, you go like, okay, well, it's got this, like there's stuff here, like this. But some of it is like he kicks open the chests, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. like the real one, okay, yeah. It doesn't feel like a real Ninja Gaiden game, if that makes any sense. And it doesn't feel like Platinum's best work. But as someone who has really liked Platinum's games in the past, when they hit, they hit. There's flashes of that here. There's flashes of that here that I go, oh, yeah, okay. A lot of this is really complicated. It's not the fault of the game, but it is, Tomonobu Itagaki, the creator of the modern Ninja Gaiden franchise, who, has not been with Tecmo for a decade or so, but he passed away. Last week, I think they announced it last week. And
Sydney, I need you to go out and get me a jalapeno.
That has been weighing heavily. Like I would not expect to have been especially affected by that news. He and I were not close. I spoke to him directly once or twice over the years. And I remember I sat next to him at a Microsoft event, and that was after all this stuff. Like after, like his whole thing.
You want me to go with who?
And I remember sitting with him and going, you know what, this dude is all right.
How much, girl?
This dude's all right. Because Itagaki, if you don't remember, was when the Ninja Gaiden games were coming out, when the Dead or Alive games were coming out, he was very outspoken about the quality of his games and about the quality of other games in a way that most developers were certainly not then, in a pre-social media world, in a pre-hot take kind of cult of personality, like rock star game developer style thing. He was a very public dick about that stuff, and his shit talking on Tekken was, especially Tekken 4, which I think anyone can agree is like, fuck that game, was legendary. I never thought that his games were as good as he thought they were. Even when they were very good, I think the way he talked about them, I personally always found a little bit off-putting, and the way he carried himself, leather jacket, sunglasses, like he was that dude in an era when we hadn't seen a lot of that dude in video games, and he knew full well what he was doing. I think ultimately, like, that's the thing, is like all of that is a facade. Like all of that was, hey, when I do this shit, every single magazine in the Western press writes about my game.
The tips are like the best part. Careful, they're not too hot.
And so he was a great manipulator before that became a thing. Before Randy Pitchford was on Twitter,
oil has oil
talking about his premium game for premium players and getting people to keep writing the word Borderlands into the internet over and over again. Which I also think he is doing. For the record, I think Randy Pitchford is doing that extremely deliberately, though not with the panache and flair of Itagaki, for sure. He was a very unique individual in the terms of video game developers and the way that, like a lot of that, and like I said, it's not like he and I were close. It's not like, like I had a couple of conversations with him. I had friends who were friends with him, and seeing them be hit hard by it has been very sad to see. But it hit me harder than I thought it would, I guess.
Be over there in 5.
And I'm pretty sad about it, even though, he had not been with Tecmo for a good long time, and he put out Devil's Third, which didn't really land. He had another thing in the works supposedly, but I don't know what that was. I think the last game he worked on with Tecmo was DOA Code Chronos, which was supposed to be some kind of action game about the two main girls in Dead or Alive.
Don't sweat.
But that ended up getting canceled. His first game with them, I believe, was Tecmo Super Bowl. And then, kind of he was as close as Tecmo had to a face, because he was responsible for DOA and he was responsible for Ninja Gaiden, which became the franchises that company was known for prior to the Koei acquisition, so it was he was synonymous with that company for a good chunk of time, and I think it's very sad that he has passed away, and I think that there's something mixed up in all of this with the new game and the way the new game doesn't feel like,
dude, guys,
anything.
Little much.
It doesn't feel related enough to those original games, and that
makes me
sad in light of all of this, as well.
Hi, CJ.
Hey, girl.
And I think that's largely separate. I think the game has plenty of its own issues on its own. I don't think that this is like, some major sticking point one way or the other. But there is something sad about it, because, like, say what you will about those early Ninja Gaiden games. They were made incredibly deliberately and incredibly specifically.
This is too fast for me.
You know, they were targeting a very specific type of player who wanted to experience that thing.
Slow down, CJ. I mean it.
That style of game. It was considered quite difficult in its day, though I don't know that that necessarily holds true all these years later. And certainly re-releases of the game have you know, done things to kind of adjust that ever so slightly. Bad Jokes UK in the chat says it doesn't have the weight to the action that his games had. Yeah, that's I think that's a good way of putting it. You know, the Ninja Gaiden games, like every single hit against a meaningful enemy, not like a bird or something.
They are.
You're driving way too
like
fast.
Felt like you were doing shit. You were making things happen, and it stuck, and you just were like, I'm in that ass. Like I am. It had that fighting game-like approach to action gaming in some ways, and
Thanks, Carl. That
you
was
felt
great,
like
but
you
I'm
had
glad
accomplished something when you made it through encounters there. Even if you got a low ranking, even if you were a ninja dog, I think there's still
a double ender has more uses, I find.
impact to the action in those games. And Ninja Gaiden 4 doesn't Ninja Gaiden 4 has spectacle. Ninja Gaiden 4 has, like, you know, the way they present like this like demonic strange Tokyo is like a fascinating visual thing. Like it is crazy to look at.
I lost the keys to my thigh brace once.
Gosh, yeah.
But in action,
Sucker
you are
me into
flitting
that.
around, going ba 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 ba, like you're all over the place, and it doesn't feel right. At the end of the day, like it doesn't feel right for Ninja Gaiden. It feels right for a platinum game. But those are two incredibly different things.
I want to set up my own dungeon.
This is really interesting.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't mean this to be like damning.
Oh,
of the new
finally.
game or anything. Like I said, I think there are some really neat things happening in Ninja Gaiden 4.
And yeah, you have to sleep with them. It ups your
But the formula
percentage
doesn't
with them.
feel right.
I mean, I guess you could reject them, but it would take you
You know, like,
forever
the formula just doesn't
to max out
feel
the
right.
relationship. Yeah.
I never understood the phrase meaningless sex.
And also, I think, you know, like there is something about the whole like $70 video game where it's like this is
I just got her car keys, bro.
This is a lot of dang money. $90 deluxe.
That's all about
edition,
percentages.
Like,
you
there's
got to
just a
date
lot
them
of
so
that stuff
much.
that I think is really just gets kind of hard to swallow.
Okay, did I actually eat them? Okay. Let's go. Let's
Speaking
do,
of hard to swallow,
no, let's do
this
pizza.
thing. Asus put out the ROG Xbox Ally and the ROG Xbox Ally X last week. The high-end model is $1,000. And this has kicked off a very... There's the identity of Xbox, I think, is really never been more in question than it is right now. The ad campaign where they tried to say, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox, this cat's not an Xbox, wah, wah, like... The release of this device, I think, has been more damaging to the Xbox brand than anything else. And it's been interesting to watch Microsoft as they talk about this thing. For those unaware, the ROG Xbox Ally X, if you're listening to the video version, it is a Steam Deck-like handheld device. Much like the earlier ROG Ally devices, it is a Windows 11 machine. And it's got a pretty powerful chipset in it for the form factor, and it runs a good deal of games because it's running on Windows. There are games that will run here that will not run on a Steam Deck. So you can play Battlefield 6 on this.
That's an airplane.
You can play Call of Duty. You could
just dropped
play Apex Legends.
Luckily, it avoided me.
This.
It didn't kill me. I wonder if it flies.
You know, it's like it is a Windows machine. On the Microsoft side of things, they have been working away on Windows 11 in an attempt to make it friendlier on this type of device.
Why don't you drop here?
Because Windows 11 is not built for handhelds. It is not built for handhelds that don't have any kind of mouse, like trackpad or anything like that on here.
No, I don't care.
So, alongside this device, Microsoft has rolled out what it is calling the Xbox FSE, the full screen experience. And this is a full screen version of the Xbox app that is already built into Windows 11. With some optimizations. I don't know. I have not been testing frame times or any crazy stuff like that, but it boots into this optimized mode where it is supposedly able to run games better because it is not running as much of the Windows 11 guts underneath it. I don't know. Those are actually the numbers I'd be curious to see because of the hassle that this interface choice presents. So this is a Windows machine. It is not an Xbox. It does not play Xbox console games. Your existing Xbox console library does not work on this machine natively. There are a handful of cases where you may have purchased an Xbox game that is available via Xbox Play Anywhere, meaning if you buy the Xbox version, you get the PC version for free. And so in those cases, you can install the PC version of the game because this is a PC. And this is where we start to get into a lot of the dumb semantics around this. It's a PC. It's a Windows machine. Their storefront. And so I guess like what I was saying is like so many aspects of this device are not ready for prime time. The Xbox full screen experience is a full screen version of the Xbox app. If you only ever intend to run games out of the Xbox app, which can kind of interface with your Steam library if you install Steam on it and all that other stuff, but it's not a very smooth experience. It's like there's the interface I found to be clunky. I found it to be occasionally unresponsive because sometimes you push a direction on the D-pad, and sometimes the Xbox interface has lost focus. So there were times where I had to tap the screen to focus Windows on the window running the Xbox app, even in FSE mode, before it would take input from the controller, which is bad. And so this is a Windows machine. It is not an Xbox. If this is the future of Xbox as it stands right here, right now, today, they are in trouble. However, if you look at this as the first step in a journey, because I think that anyone with half a brain, no one over at Microsoft is going to look at this and go, all right, mission accomplished, we're done. Like, no. There is a lot of work that needs to happen before this becomes an acceptable way for a wider, more mainstream audience to use this. The Steam Deck is a much better solution at consoleizing an interface, even taking into account that there are some games that simply will not run on a Steam Deck because of anti-cheat and what have you.
Damn, you stink. Trying to get laid out.
Certainly, God, I mean, if we're just thinking about other current handhelds, like imagine someone who goes like, oh man, I heard the Switch 2 was cool, but like this thing's even more powerful, and I want to play Battlefield, and that's not on Switch, or whatever kind of modern shooter thing that is not and they go and buy one of these instead, you are going to end up in a window, even as part of the setup process, which is by and large the standard Windows 11 setup process of connecting to Wi-Fi, logging into a Microsoft account, choosing I think you even choose a window accent color. There's, it shows logos for Microsoft Office and stuff during the setup process because it is by and large the standard Windows out-of-box experience. The OOBE just runs when you turn this thing on. And it is doable with a gamepad and touch screen. I found myself after a Windows update, because there is a new version of Windows available, 25H2 is a relatively recent release. And so after hours of downloading Windows updates and installing them and rebooting this thing, it rebooted, and then it had destroyed, the pin number and has a thumbprint sensor. It decided, okay, you cannot use the thumbprint sensor. You must use your pin number, and your pin number's gone, by the way. You need to set a new pin number. Okay.
Terribly sorry.
I'll just set a new pin number, then no problem. And then it throws up a Windows-ass window that cannot be navigated with a gamepad and touchscreen. And all of the shortcuts and things you could do to pop up the touchscreen keyboard did not work. And so at first I had to tap on the screen 20 times just to get a window to pop up to let me type in the new PIN number, and then found I had no way to type in a PIN number because the on-screen keyboard would not pop up. And so I'm staring at this thing going, what the fuck? Well, maybe I can remote desktop into it. No, I can't, because it's running Windows 11 Home and not Windows 11 Pro. So you cannot remote desktop into it. You must find a keyboard. It only has USB-C ports on it. So you need to find a hub.
No, that
is going to go from
seriously,
C to
dude.
A, because unless you have a fucking USB-C keyboard like a true fucking maniac, what I ended up doing is I grabbed the Steam Deck dock and plugged that into it.
I'll be doing a pool.
Because that is USB-C that plugged in right here, and then it had two USB-A ports on the back of it. The Steam Deck dock worked great, except for I could not get the power to work properly. I had to leave it unpowered, but I could even hook it up to my TV that way. The Steam Deck dock worked, except for it was not transferring power through the dock properly, for whatever reason.
It's done with this trap.
And once I had plugged the mouse and keyboard into it, worked great. You know why? Because it's a computer.
Presentable.
It's not an Xbox.
You can finish the game now.
At any point, especially once you have a keyboard plugged in, if you tap the Windows key, the start menu appears, and as soon as the start menu appears, the Xbox full screen
raging today,
experience
telling Bugs about
optimizations
it.
are gone.
How they messed up my player character.
Running
blah blah
the
blah.
Xbox app in a window.
He gets that worried look.
Windows,
No,
it's regular Windows. So much so, in fact,
I was like, "What, man? Seriously, dude?
Says,
Dang, man!"
Full screen, and when you push the button to put the Xbox app back into full screen,
player
it pops up a warning and says, "Hey, you should really reboot if you want the optimizations that this mode is supposed to bring."
Okay.
You can do this. One more. If you want to just make it full screen and get back to playing apps, you can do it. But we recommend you reboot to get back into, did you brush your elbow against the start menu? You should reboot.
Yep, get off electronics. Go wash up for dinner, please.
Yeah.
Yep,
it's crazy.
We're red-eyed Jedis.
I paid $100 to upgrade the Windows 11 Home install to Windows 11 Pro.
After bath,
and
we're almost there. After dinner, take a bath, clean it up.
Into it and administrate this machine that
going
way.
for this oyster that's right over here,
and
I'm running to gain muscle. Running and swimming is the only way I can gain muscle.
And do whatever you need to do.
Because I glitched it out. But
I also had to go through
I started. Yeah, it was a thing. If you go too long without eating, it'll glitch out.
Like Office.
So
you're trying to collect all
it ran a process to uninstall Microsoft 365 and Office that took 5 minutes of it just sitting there with a bar crawling across the screen.
Dad.
What? It does.
Why is
Where's it
that
at?
pre-installed? Like
Pretty
some of these things, are getting outsized. Like people are like, I can't
thought I
believe
just saw
Microsoft
it.
Teams
I
is
guess
installed.
not.
But I don't think Teams is literally installed on it. There are a lot of icons that by default show up on a Windows install. That are not like one of the things it says is like, here's WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is not installed. When you click it, it installs
Easy.
it. So it's just it's an icon that will install it if you click it. And so when you uninstall it, it just removes the icon. I don't think Teams is literally installed on it out of the box, but some Office shit definitely was, because it took forever to uninstall.
Uh-oh.
If you want to pop up PowerShell and forcibly uninstall the Your Phone icon, the Your Phone app, you can do it. It's a Windows machine, and you can do all the things a Windows machine can do. It has an NPU in it, and so Windows Recall is installed on it by default. So I went into the add and remove optional Windows settings and disabled Recall and disabled some of the other AI shit that it shipped with, alongside it. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this if you just want to fire it up and play a game. Solitaire is also pre-installed. When you launch that Xbox for the first time, it's like, yeah, man, play Solitaire. Here's the hilarious thing. When you go to launch Solitaire, the Xbox app throws up a thing that says, like, hey, man, this is not optimized.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh, okay, we found it.
Couldn't see it.
We found it. Yeah, that was pretty hard.
That was kind of. All right, let's go save. It's dinner time.
Two more,
It does
Dad.
have some
Two more
support.
for 100% Riz.
Oh my god. Okay.
It will. The girls can't resist me.
It's fucking Solitaire.
Right
Once you get all the oysters, the girls they can. Yeah.
So, if you need to
It
use
does.
the
It
Windows
gives you
calculator,
100% Riz. You think that's kid? It does.
Clipchamp.
It does. It makes you attractive, basically. Like, the nicer you look and the nicer your clothes are, and if you have a fresh haircut, your attractiveness goes up. And that matters when you're trying to get those girlfriends.
Because it's a Windows machine.
So, but if you collect all the oysters, if you get all 50 of them, you get you're 100% attractive. So, and I needed to work out to gain muscle anyway, so it kind of just worked out. See how much better I'm looking?
Oh, yeah, you're not too better. It was like a 6-7 type.
Like I installed Steam on.
All right. All right.
There's a button, because it's an Asus
Let me pause,
device,
Mr. Gertzman. The video game guru.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit right there. All right, there you go. There's your mic. There you go. Oh, that's close.
We need like 2 more
I need
oysters, Dad. 2 more oysters.
It's close enough. Yes, I did.
I never did.
Is that what you did today?
Yeah.
That's full.
This has been in.
Hey, I got your phone, and you can show Mom after dinner what you did today. I got your thing right there.
Oh, is it Itsy Bitsy Spy?
Oh, is that what it is? No, it's a moon. I see a moon. Oh, it's Halloween. I bet you it's Halloween stuff.
And there's a cobweb.
Yeah. We'll straighten it out later. Do you want to hang it up?
Yeah. Yeah. How we do? But now, Dad, you need to reach it. I can reach.
You don't need to reach it for looks.
It's for the look. I
don't know if it'll hang down here.
Yeah.
We'll move it later. I hung it up there because I have glue on it. Favorite?
I'm excited. Just like I'm starving.
Are you starving? That's the best.
Yes.
Yep, that's Mom's food. That's the best. I can remember being a kid and literally being starving, my stomach going like feeling the pain. You could like feel the pain in your stomach. Yeah.
Food.
Oh, bless the food.
Bless us, O Lord, and these I guess are about to see from abound. Could you use the Christ, the Lord, amen.
Amen.
Yeah, I was skeptical, Dad, because I didn't think that, was like possible.
What?
Okay. I didn't know like the whole attractiveness.
Oh yeah. No, it's a part of the whole.
Okay.
It's a role playing game.
Oh,
Not complete,
yeah.
but a little bit. It has role-playing aspects.
Yeah.
So,
How much muscle you have.
mhm. Just like, when you were recording that Sam kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Are those highlighters?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, no table.
There's one. We didn't bust the fruit yet, babe.
You just did.
Oh, yeah. I like to do cheese with cheese sauce.
You like the
I'm
cheese
hoping-
sauce?
Yeah, I like to do it with my
Oh yeah, that's the best.
While Miss Johnson is here, she does Percy Jackson because I heard it's good.
Oh, is she gonna do Percy Jackson?
I don't know. We don't know yet.
Don't know yet.
She's like, she has to ask the teacher because she has like a big collection of books. His mom's partner, and so and a part of her like big collection is Percy Jackson.
It's the Percy Jackson book.
So hopefully,
Yeah.
because we get a vote on what book we want to read. So hopefully,
I don't know, man. You're in Oklahoma, and those Percy Jackson books,
Percy Jackson.
they have magic in them. I'm just saying. It's not funny. Yeah. Those look delicious, man. Do chairs. Trade chairs with your mom.
Okay. I want my pillow.
There.
But yeah, Dad, I think you're right. Samantha's gonna be like, you guys changed everything
Because we hung
here.
up two
Like
pictures.
we hung up like a couple photos.
I'm really thinking about the shower curtain.
Oh, this is what should.
No, it will. It'll just be a shower curtain, but to her, she'll be like, "What did you do? You changed."
I moved out.
I just saw a
in-
commercial for that, Mom. That was funny. It
Oh,
comes
yeah.
off probably because of who we are, like that targeted advertising.
Yeah.
But it's like you come home from college and walk into your room and you can't wait. And she walks into her room, and it's still her room, except her dad has a treadmill right in the middle of it. And like Def Leppard comes on.
Bro, that happened to me.
No, I know. That's why I
Like,
was
no, that literally
I think it's
happened
real.
to me.
Yeah, you think
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that room just sitting like.
Yeah. They left me.
Especially if you're not upper middle class,
Yeah.
like if you're normal people, like
Yeah.
that room is.
They
Yeah.
left me the bed, repainted my walls,
Yeah,
scraped off
that's
all
funny.
my poetry,
Yeah,
and then Mom's sewing machine and craft area took over my closet and
That's
half
right.
my room, and my bed was left.
That's right.
Yeah, I was like, what the?
Are
Oh
you
my
serious?
No, well, yeah, you move out. You're moving.
No, I moved out. I mean, they knew I didn't have, but still,
Mhm.
you're like, whoa.
What are you doing? What?
There's no sour cream.
Oh yeah, there
Mm.
is. Sorry, I forgot.
Mm,
I forgot.
Baby's hungry. That's good.
Oh my god.
Nami, Nami.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mom hooked you up.
Oh yeah. And then just because I put my bed sheets on her bed and like customize it, she's gonna be like, Sydney, what did you
Yeah.
I-
Yeah. She is. She's gonna make sure that's not your bed. She will. She's gonna go out of her way. Watch. But maybe not.
Maybe not, maybe
Your
not.
sister is doing pretty good so
Uh-huh.
far in school. She may be
Maybe
Yeah.
be like, oh, you guys changed
moving
it?
on. Yeah, she might be thinking about the next.
Mhm.
I swear, we should do the shower curtain. Dad had a good idea about that.
Big, nice bright one.
Yeah, like one
I
of
was
those,
thinking
like,
a sunflower one.
yes.
Sunflowers are good.
It's like,
Sunflowers.
because it's cute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are good bathroom colors.
Mm-hmm. And it would go with the colors. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I want
Like kind of
pictures.
brown, yellow.
Yep.
But not be like too crazy,
Mhm.
patchy, or
Yep.
over the top.
All right, I'm stepping outside, brother.
Well, next time we're going big shopping, we need to get a shower curtain now.
What?
We're gonna.
The white one's still in good shape. Just you need a new rod. You need a shower curtain rod and not called whatever the outside one isn't called a shower curtain.
No, it's
Or
like
that is the actual shower
yeah,
curtain. And
and
the
then
one on the
is the
inside,
liner.
there
The
you is a
shower
shower
is the
liner. The
liner.
liner.
And
Yep.
we've just used the liners as
Liner.
our curtain.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, that was that's a young people thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you only have
Mm-hmm.
one. It's not like you have two.
Yeah.
Yep. But it makes sense because that's when you have a nicer shower curtain, and then you have to change the liner every so
Mm-hmm.
often. They do have some really cute shower curtains, though.
Yeah.
If you're young.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, I can hear it.
Oh, it's
Those are the ones
loaded.
that make me mad.
That was one after it was gone. Oh, it's
Mhm.
like a musket ball, whatever they call it.
Yep.
You know how they ram that?
Yeah. No, those are the ones that no, I get mad.
Mhm.
I can't help it. Like
Yep.
I get mad. I'm like, no, sir.
Mom,
Hmm.
sometimes in bathroom break we hear you yelling in your classroom.
Hmm.
Like actively,
Gosh, dang.
like today, you were yelling, and it was yelling when you did small group. You were like yelling.
That's not even yelling, bro.
I very
That's not your
seriously
yelling
doubt your
voice.
mom's yelling. So, yeah.
Oh,
Nope.
jeez.
I'm not even yelling.
Well, that's not your yelling voice.
Nope. That's just my talking louder than them voice.
So what's your loud? Shit.
It's scary because they all be quiet. That's all I know.
Oh my gosh. What? I've heard you be scared sometimes.
Hey, my mic's on. That's enough talking about your mom. God, dude. Yeah. No, just temperature dropped.
Do you have some more cheese
Mhm.
sauce? Mm.
No, I just got a new batch out of that. If something happened, it
Mhm.
just will not
Yeah.
roll properly. Yeah. Oh.
Have another napkin.
Mhm.
Ooh. Oh yeah. And then today in science we learned about what was it called? Poo-poo.
Ah,
Hey, that's
not
not
at the
funny
dinner
either.
table.
Hey, I don't know what's going on, guys. Everybody stop. Love you. Don't know what the negativity, weird underlying thing is. Love you guys. Love, love. No negativity, no bathroom potty jokes at the dinner table. No trying to tell your mother you're mean. She's mean. Let's chill out. Let's have a good dinner. Mom just slaved over after she worked all day with other people's kids. It's good to be wintertime and dusk is coming earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The funny period. In the
Mhm.
summertime, you don't notice as much because it's 10 o'clock at night. Well, that's like bedtime anyways. And so you take showers, as the winter comes on more and more, that weird, funny, twilight period,
Mm-hmm.
it's only 6:30. So
Yeah.
it's in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And
No.
everyone feels a little funny. It's
Uh-huh.
at twilight. It is. It's a weird time.
Well,
Wow. And then once it's fully night, everyone, I don't know, but then
kind
it's
of.
after bash, it's
Yeah.
after your stuff is
Mm-hmm.
done.
Everyone sort of recharges a little.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly normal.
Yeah, Mom. But today was like one of our chiller days.
Oh yeah.
Totally chill day.
So like we started off with science, which
Mhm.
was that was my good
I
shit.
thought you were done. I know that's a good one right there.
That
My
was my
good
good shit.
No, it is. Look at it's like yeah,
Mm.
it's a good one. Dang it. Ugh. Thumbs up.
That
in her
time saved
Caesar
my
state.
good shit.
Oh, it did.
Mommy, that's how you put down my bean. I never put down my bean. So like we started out with science, which was like different for us. Because usually we do like minute math, which is
So you guys are doing something you don't usually do. Do more oysters, bro. And irresistible. Me, CJ, and I are irresistible.
oh my gosh, that.
What? What? What, bro? Well, no snakes, right? There's nothing out in front of them.
Okay, but then obviously we didn't. So like yeah.
And Miss Johnson is back.
Yes.
Is she your math and science teacher?
No, she's English.
She's an English teacher, a reading teacher.
I miss Miss Kimball.
And my teacher name is Miss Debbie and Miss Potts.
Yep, Miss Gabby and Miss Pop.
Never to our teacher.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so hopefully I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that when Miss Kimball comes back, and I think it was like beginning of December, no, middle of December.
I don't think she's coming back till after Christmas. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't think so.
Miss Johnson told us that she's going back in December.
And maybe she is, but it'll probably be right at the end. Because I remember she said she was going to try to pull it off to basically be gone until after Christmas break. Remember, things change, and she could be coming back then.
But yeah, I saw Miss Johnson said like, oh, then December I'm leaving. So maybe we might have like off and on substitutes for the last one.
Oh, I told you that.
But yeah, so I'm excited. But yeah, I hopefully when Miss Kimball comes back, we'll get to our normal schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Our own books.
Dude, go outside.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Hey, put this cat. Oh, maybe water. No, there's water in this dish.
Oh yeah, but I'm pretty sure we get to read at our own pace. So we're gonna read
Stop meowing at me.
however long.
I'm sorry, dude. I don't know what you want. You've been fed. You have water.
Are you done?
So stop, man. I'm sorry, but stop. Throw that cat out, please.
Okay. All right.
What's this way?
With the scrub a fork or something there dirty utensil already.
Yeah. Wait, do you want to have your
Izzy, do you want to do dessert? Oh, okay.
I'm on really, really out.
What?
Out with you.
All right, right. You guys doing dessert?
Back.
So how was Run Club this morning? Did you do good? Good.
I'm flat.
Oh,
I had like 9 minutes.
don't you weren't that late. So yeah, you didn't realize you gotta get out a little bit early on Monday mornings.
A little bit earlier. Are you happy, Ron? That's good.
I think my favorite day is Thursday.
Oh, really?
It's Thursday.
Is a part of the experience. Armory Crate is a lot better now than it was when the Ally, the first generation Ally came out. It still is not an amazing experience, but they have made it better. They have made it more pleasant to work with, especially if you need to launch Steam, because it like the Steam icon is right there out of the box as well on the Armory Crate, like little pull-down launcher thing.
What do you call it?
And so you can very easily install Steam.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you know, you can decide, right? Do you want to launch your Steam games out of the Xbox app? Because the Xbox app is built to pull in your installed Steam games and show them there. Or do you want to enable Steam Big Picture mode? And if you hold down the Xbox button, it pops up basically like a fancy Alt-Tab type of app switcher, and you can go and you can pick Steam over the Xbox, and you can switch over to that and go play some games there, then switch back to the Xbox app and play some games there, you know, whatever way you want to do it. I found that Steam is kind of frustrating in some ways because sometimes in Steam Big Picture mode, the top and bottom of the interface is cut off when it's running full screen. There were times where I had to go into the Steam settings and toggle the windowed mode off and on again to get it to show the full Steam Big Picture interface. Also, Call of Duty would not immediately launch out of Steam. I don't know, like I had to uninstall it and reinstall it. I had to basically like get out of Big Picture mode, launch Call of Duty once there, and then it would work launching out of the Xbox app. The first time I tried to launch it out of the Xbox app, it popped what looked like an oversized terminal window for a second, and then that went away, and then it just, you know, basically closed the app and failed to run it. I was able to fix that because I've used a Windows machine for years and years and years. If you are not experienced in what the fuck just happened, Windows, if you are not experienced in that, then I think that this device is way too rough around way too many edges to be recommendable to a person like that. This is a computer for people who know how to use a computer. And you can obfuscate that a little bit, but not as much as you might think, and not as much as you're going to need to if this is what you want to call an Xbox. There is so much more work to be done. And Microsoft knows that. They at some point announced like, hey, on day one, this thing's going to have this functionality, and here's what's coming soon, Auto SR, the Auto Super Resolution stuff that they are working on, and the thing that will actually hopefully use this NPU to something that is not just trash. That is something that they will be rolling out whenever that is finally ready. But this is, and maybe it can't be done. Maybe Windows 11 is so fucking nuts, and it is such a big, bloated, crazy. It's an operating system. It's not. You can't just like strip it down and go, here are video games. Like, like it's a fucking operating system. There's a lot of work to be done if you want to try to make that friendly on a console. It's not an easy lift, man. But I just look at it and go like, man, there's so much that needs to happen to truly make this like if this is going to be the future of the Xbox brand and the types of devices that they're going to be shipping in the years to come.
Was acting a little
they funny. Have got so
like
much
not funny.
Work
maybe she's getting older.
Yeah.
I think she's a public
in order
school
to get
kid.
It there.
Yeah.
And this is a really bad first step.
Yeah.
But even
in that very specific way. Again,
Samantha.
If you know what you're getting into, and you're like, whatever, man, it's a computer, and like you want to tinker with it and all that stuff. Like like dude,
But I don't know
it
if
is
she
more
was
powerful than a Steam Deck.
assertive
You can
about
play
it or
Battlefield
something.
6 on it. It
But yeah, they're
runs
just being really
like quite well.
conversational,
Yeah.
talky,
Like you can do the
Yeah,
things, you know,
no,
like
that
it
is
does
a
the stuff.
difference between
I put
them.
you know
RetroArch
what I
on it
mean,
and
though?
fucking,
Mhm.
and
Just sitting
I
there
mapped a network
chatting and
drive
wanting to
on it because it's
talk about what
Windows,
she
and
did
so it's
today,
mapped to
and
my server out in the garage with all the ROMs
someone's
on it.
getting,
Talking
And so
about
I can
her
just do
mouth.
that and don't have to,
but
you know,
someone's
carry around. I
getting
mean, you know,
bigger.
if I wanted to
Yeah.
leave the house, that
Like, I don't
mapping
know,
would no
maybe
longer
that's
work. But fuck it, dude.
the public schooling, but it might be. They all have
It's
different
Sydney, yeah.
personalities, dude.
So like,
I'd
yeah,
say
dude, it's a
Sydney
computer.
too. Yeah.
It's fine.
And being in school gives her a bunch of
Runs a lot of, yeah. How's it
input to
handle
talk about.
Saturn emulation? It's great.
Mhm.
Well,
It runs fine. Yeah, I was playing some Saturn games on it. Runs
I
just
still
fine.
worry about pulling her
Steam
out,
Deck was
dude. I
perfectly
just
capable of that
don't.
stuff as well. This is more powerful than that. It runs fine.
No, dude,
No.
you're throwing them in there
Um,
with. And you see it in your classroom, dude. It's just a whole motley
but think
crew
about
of
this, man.
fucking kids, dude. Yeah.
You buy one of these.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
think about
don't
this
care
also,
where
just
you
in terms
go.
of the Xbox store and Microsoft's current efforts when it comes to selling PC games
Yes, at a
themselves.
private school, they're
meaning
less
not via
willing to run
Steam.
into somebody that's like totally
Borderlands
self-destruct,
4,
totally and
a
can't read and
long-running
write. Like,
franchise,
Mhm.
an anticipated game
you
in a
know,
long-running
Yeah, no.
franchise.
most upper middle class
Um,
families don't have kids
You
that
go to the search
Or
box
that going
on
down like
are
that.
the
that
Xbox
learning
app,
disabled,
and you type in Borderlands
or
4,
they wouldn't be upper middle
nothing
class
comes
people.
back
So it
Mhm.
because
just kind of goes
Borderlands
hand in
4
hand,
is
right?
not on their store.
But
This is a
there's still some
PC.
pretty sick
When
people in
Grand
those
Theft Auto
schools,
6
dude.
launches,
Who, yeah, probably have
Grand
great
Theft Auto
grades
6
and are
will
on
not
this
be
swim
on their
team and are
store
on, but like no, spiritually,
because they're not launching on
emotionally are
PC. They're
fucking
launching on console.
monsters, dude. So
Borderlands
that's what I
4,
worry. Just
if you want to play it
whenever
on this
you get enough
device and
numbers of
you're like
people,
not aware of other way, you know,
Yeah,
Steam, you know, like
every
whatever, you're just like,
it's
well,
D
I'm
and
gonna play
D,
this.
dude. You're
If you go to
gonna
the cloud tab,
So
they will let
is
you
that
buy an Xbox
Sydney is
copy,
your broken.
an
oh
Xbox
so that's fine.
console copy of Borderlands 4.
So
And once you've done
Yeah,
that,
I'm
you can
so
play it
worried
via the
she's gonna
cloud.
still be doing well,
And they've got a little
Mhm.
pop-up thing that
and then
says
not
this
want
console
to,
game won't run on here,
No,
man.
and
This is
Sydney is
basically like it's a pop-up
and
that
want to
if they wrote
stay
it
in
clearly,
school,
it would
want to
say,
stay in.
"Dog, this isn't an
No,
Xbox."
Sydney
But instead it
is.
says, "This is an Xbox
She
console
is
game and it
social.
doesn't run
I
over
think
here.
you
If you
nailed
want to
it.
play
She
it in the
is
cloud, you can
social,
buy this and
like
do this and buy this
Samantha
console
is.
version and do it."
But
You're like,
then, like, yeah, she just is. She's
so
a
like
lot
you know,
more
and obviously,
assertive
yes,
and
if you're in the
aggressive.
know and you know,
I
like,
don't
oh,
know what
dude,
you
I should
call
just
it. Like
install Steam and buy it there.
Samantha's still
Right,
a really
then
good
yes, that
girl,
is the
just
like
like giving that
smart
guy
answer.
we're like,
But dude, if you're not that
and not
person,
that
if you're just like,
Sydney's
well, I guess
not.
I don't
I'm
know,
not saying
like
that,
if you're
but
not
yeah.
savvy in
No,
the
that's
ways
just
of
like
using a
even like
computer or
after
whatever,
school.
and
Like
you
me
get
and the
this
teachers
because
will
you
all
liked
just
the
stand there and
Xbox
talking,
console, or
and Sydney
you
will be
liked
there.
other
I
consoles,
know
and you're
Sydney
like,
tries
well,
to
if
talk
this is an
too.
Xbox,
That's
then I know
yeah.
it's going
And
to
I'm
be like
like,
this.
kid,
You're
go to
going to
my
be
room.
in over your head immediately.
This is an adult
So
conversation. But
Or
no,
you're going to
she's
I
end
like,
up
think it's
she
buying a
talks
console
it's
about
version of a
personality
game to play it via
difference.
the
you know,
cloud,
and then
which
some
is
of that I don't know
fucking
if I blame that on
nonsense.
myself because it was just me and Sydney to
Well,
like
that's why
And
Sarah, I always
requires you
told you
to
that's
have
why
a Game
Sarah
Pass
was like that.
subscription
yeah,
if you want to
like
get the best resolutions and all this other
She
stuff
was the only
and whatever else.
grandchild, and she was the first
I think that
grandchild.
that's all just
She was Shelley and Tilly's only kid.
again. I
mhm.
think if you're
No.
looking at the long-term
And so
strategy of
yeah,
what the
she
fuck
just
is
Yep.
Microsoft
like
doing
she's
here,
just not scared.
Yep.
Like she's not
a few
scared
years down the
to
line when there are
talk
more devices out
to
here like this and they've had more time to
so
make it
Yep.
good,
that's why Mr. Babcock likes her.
Mhm.
Because you know, like
hopefully,
she'll give it
then we
back.
look back on this
Mhm.
moment
But
and go,
she's
oh
not.
yeah, had kind of a rough start, but they got
So,
there. But you know, there's
but
no
yeah, I'm
guarantee that
so
they got
scared to
there.
send her to
And
public
also, I
school.
Yeah,
think
I
that
Any
like
can't.
with the
school.
way
I
this is
can't.
being
I'm just,
presented,
Yeah.
again, the way it's being marketed,
and
the way
when
it's
she's
being
going through
focused, like
puberty
they literally
too,
run like
fuck,
Good
man.
Morning America talking about the portable
Fuck.
Xbox.
No.
Like that is an almost criminal amount of like
Makes me
misinformation
nervous.
about what this thing actually is. And it's funny because like what it actually is way more capable than a fucking
Hey, will you
Xbox.
put the food up
It's
for me?
so much
Yeah.
more.
No, I
It can
for
run
some reason it's the
Teams.
most frustrating
But no,
thing to
seriously,
me.
but like, you could
But
do computer
It
stuff on
tickles
it if
my
you wanted
weird
to. You could
anxiety.
install
It's not
Handbrake on it and
Tupperware.
compress videos.
No,
Who
it does.
cares?
I'm
Like
not
you can do
kidding.
whatever.
But I can't
can't help but feel
But
too
it has
like
access to a much
in
larger
some ways,
library
like
of
even
games
Sydney's
than
conversation, even outside
a
my
traditional
classes,
Xbox ever will.
that for
her mother being in that school
So
as some kind of
yeah,
no,
can I solve it? Yeah, sure. Put Bazite on it. I bet it would work great.
That's the only reason
Of course,
I agreed to that.
if you're going to do that, you should probably just buy a Steam Deck.
I agreed to her going to school.
So, like, because I feel like the benefit to buying this type of machine is that you're like, okay, well, whatever. This thing runs Windows, and thus it can play games that have modern anti-cheat. Your Battlefield 6s, your Destiny 2s, I guess.
You know,
But yeah,
all the EA stuff that doesn't run, Skate probably. I don't know.
They might not be the cool
Apex,
kids,
you know,
but-
it is more powerful
Yeah, they don't
than
get
a Steam Deck
They
is
don't get bullied.
nope.
And you're
to
right.
some degree. Is it like a generational leap over the Steam Deck? No, I don't think so.
No. So
Yeah.
But you
So
know,
that
you're going
does
to get more
help.
frames, you're going to get more of this, you're going to get more of that out of it. It is a more powerful chipset than the Steam Deck has.
Yeah, I wouldn't try to.
And
yeah, you can't go through
that counts
junior
for
high
something.
and high school with her.
No,
does that
I
make
What,
it
you
worth
gonna transfer
$1,000? When a
schools
Steam Deck
every
is not
time she
$1,000?
switches?
That is up to you.
That's like my certification.
I'm going to say no.
Great, and I'm not interested in
Teaching
I'm
high
going to say
school.
I don't
I'm not
think
interested
I feel like $1,000 is really
no,
crazy.
Like, fifth is perfect.
When a Steam Deck is like, yeah,
no,
like a,
it
you know,
really
you can
is
get the
that.
low end
Like,
kind of.
No, because it
still
is. They're
just as
not even
powerful, but,
kids,
like, the
adults.
difference, like,
They're
a
not even
non-OLED
whatever
Steam
that
Deck is like
kid
what,
after
350
what do you
or
call
something? I mean, it's
that?
not
Yeah, they're
Not adolescent, but
whatever.
juveniles.
fraction
They're
of
not
the price
juvenile
of
yet.
this
They're still
$1,000
kids.
device.
Like,
They
yeah,
do
they're
have
big
a
kids.
cheaper version of this
But like,
that
and
is
you can
a
still
slower
the tone of
chipset
voice
and less
still
storage
works with them.
Yes,
space.
it does. Yeah.
Where they're and then after
I feel
that
like the
they're
storage
starting to get
space
that
is
age where
sacrificing.
like
If you were going to
dude.
buy that and then throw a larger SSD in it, you could do that.
They're still young enough to be sensitive to adults.
Yes.
Just talking to them.
Yes, but then like
But yeah,
mix up. They're still
I could not get Keeper to run
but then
acceptably
they're not
well
first
on this
rate
device.
kids.
That was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
the one
They
game.
get
Like Ninja Gaiden 4
sarcasm,
ran
you
okay. I was
can't
running the
talk to
Steam
them
version of
like,
that.
you know.
So
yeah,
I ran
like,
into
no,
multiple situations. Like Keeper is definitely one of them, where I was playing Keeper on the PC, turned all the way up, and then launched it on the Ally, and it's all my PC settings stuck, and so it was trying to run it at very high, and it was running at like 15 frames per second. So you go into the settings on here, you go into the handheld, you go into turning it down to very low, and you turn on like AMD's frame generation thing, and like I'm basically like trying to lower it as much as possible to get the frame rate up. And there's an in-game frame rate meter there when you're in the graphical settings in Keeper, and I got it to say 60, and I'm like, oh, it's great. Oh, okay. But like the input latency had become so bad with whatever other settings I had turned on, whether it was the frame generation or setting it to very low and all this other stuff, that like it felt like mud. It felt terrible. And then when I went back to my desktop PC, all of those settings were turned on, and so it had been turned down to very low. It had been like all of those settings stuck. And so hopefully that will not be an ongoing problem for them. They are listing games as like handheld
I didn't want to tell
optimized
Sydney
in their
the
store,
oyster. It's my
which means
sex
they're going to
appeal
recommend a certain,
bar.
or you know, maybe default
So then I was like,
install
oh, that
with
was
a certain,
attractive
graphical settings for
which
a
is
game,
true. It's the
if
same.
they're reporting that. Now the Steam version.
Yeah, see, I would have had a meltdown over having to put those beans in that
That is something
Tupperware.
that the Xbox Store is reporting on
There's a lot of beans.
There's a smaller one that may work, but it also may have not worked.
No, that's what I mean. Then that's when I start stressing out. I'm telling you, man.
Games that did that,
the older I get, I have
handheld and my desktop
Decision Crisis.
installs. When the cloud syncs happened, it ruined those settings over there.
Simple.
So
I'm Forrest Gump in my old age.
Which then thus
I just want to roll the wall. I want to roll the wall. I want to mow the yard.
That is something they need to fix.
Someone else can do all that decision
with
making.
The Steam Deck, I ran into a handful of games.
Telling you that's how that happens.
Where that was the case, where like the settings on a game would travel with the cloud save and would fuck up one or the other. But generally speaking, that was not the case. I that's probably just a growing pain and something they need to fix. But we will see. This is an interesting device because, you know, and I think if this had just kind of come out with like very little fanfare and like, hey man, Asus is releasing a new Windows-based handheld, and we, you know, like we put an Xbox button on it, and Microsoft did some stuff to Windows to try to make it better. Like if they had presented it that way, I think that half this conversation would be over already. But instead, You've got Microsoft executives out appearing on television and there's this big Variety article where they're interviewing Sarah Bond at the New York-based launch event that they had and talking to her about it.
Game makes me want to go to Vegas, actually. That's
talking about
No, I probably should just to, see it, check it out. It probably is the strip and all that. That would be cool to go just to, halfway just to see it.
When you take them together, and Kotaku rewrote some of this as well when they were writing it up. Like there's like spots where they're saying,
"Clock, how can I serve you?"
Let's see. Let me find the exact quote here. And some of these quotes are about kind of their next generation hardware. So it is more or less confirming that this is the direction that they're headed in, right? We have our next gen hardware in development. We've been looking at prototyping, designing. We have a partnership we've announced with AMD. We're always listening to what player. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but where there is demand for innovation, we're going to build it. And so this thing is, here it is. They're interviewing an Xbox executive about the future of Xbox as it relates to the release of this device, this Xbox device, and this and that, and this is the future of this, and Microsoft is happy to market and co-market and take credit for this, and say we're innovating until they ask about the price. Where the quote from Sarah Bond is, "We looked at how do we create multiple options for people, and it really was Asus because this is their hardware."
It's all fresh out of the
and so it's it's an Xbox right up until someone says, "Why is this $1,000?" And then it's like, "Oh, Asus made it.
Hold it, love it.
I don't."
Best
yeah, yes. I mean, whew. I think that's really fucking crazy. But I think that is the truth, though. Asus made this. Asus decided when this needed to ship. Asus made all this is Xbox was a partner here. They came in and said, yes, you can put a button with our thing on it. And yeah, you're right. We should start moving Windows in this direction, and we'll start. But they didn't finish. This device is not finished on the software side. And that's on Microsoft. But also, it's a very hard job, so I can't, I can't necessarily blame them for not getting it all the way done here in October of 2025.
No, you can just tell when
really needs to be done about 2 years from now.
Whatever you want, Acula's
when they start shipping whatever they decide to call their next generation hardware.
As the kids would say, you can just tell when she's cooking.
But they can't have it both ways. I think getting out there and trying to say hey, look at this Xbox, look at this cool thing that we made, and then the minute someone says anything about the hardware or the price, anything like that, they're just disavowing. It's well, Asus. I think that's a really kind of cowardly way to approach it. But it does underscore the part where a lot of this is not necessarily in Microsoft's hands, right? It's an OEM making a thing. It's a company that makes Windows machines saying, here's another Windows machine that we're making. That's it. That's all. If Microsoft hadn't stepped in and tried to market the shit out of it, and this is an Xbox, we wouldn't even be talking about it this way. It'd be oh, I don't know, it's more powerful than a Steam Deck, but it's too expensive. End of story. Windows is still Windows. It's clunky. You have a lot of stuff to try to navigate around. It's still very clunky. But because they went out of their way to try to put their stamp on this device, suddenly it's like the last straggling contestant in a dead console war or something. You're like, what? Because when you compare this to consoles, it's
told you.
It's better and it's worse, right? It's better because it's open. You can do all kinds of great stuff with it. It's worse because taking full advantage of this machine requires a level of know-how that you will not need to play console games. And that is what you need to know more than anything else before making a decision about not just this device, but any device in this space. These are computers. The interface is not there yet. The Steam Deck is really close. But even a Steam Deck, at the end of the day, there's still going to be a few weird things because it's a computer. There's also been some build quality. I've seen people say that the triggers on their devices have shipped broken. On mine, if I squeeze which sometimes you do when you're holding it in your hand, but the right side of it, the plastic is very creaky here in the hand grips, and it makes a note, like I can't, you're not going to hear it in the microphone if I hold it up to it, but it is moving in my hand a little bit when I'm pushing on it. There is a little bit of a creak around the seams on the sides. That's not great. And I think the D-pad is not great for four-way games. I was trying to play Mr. Do on this and found myself pushing in the wrong direction because the diagonals are a little too easy to hit, and I think some of that stuff is funky. Very funky. And that's the, hey, that is the ROG Xbox Ally X. I think it is a very mixed device because I don't think that, like, if you use it as they, like, are seemingly kind of marketing it and like, hey, man, it launches to the Xbox interface and you've got a storefront and cloud streaming and all this other stuff, like, that is going to be easier to use, but you're missing out on so many games and things that way that's an insane, like, do not pay $1,000 for this thing and then use it like that. It's not worth it. Only get this if you're going to use take full advantage of it as a computer and load all the different stuff that you care about onto it and all of that. That's not to say that you need to be carrying around a mouse and keyboard and like, oh, well, I got to Bluetooth this mouse in so I can do it. Like, you can do that. I don't intend to do that. But I think, this is a device for people who know what they're getting into. And I think that, and know that they can handle that as well. Because I think that there are so many rough edges around this experience. Even on just trying to set it up and update Windows, there are multiple spots for updates because firmware and some updates come out of the Armory Crate app that Asus installed. And then Windows updates come from the Windows, like, regular-ass Windows updater that is built into every copy of Windows. You have to launch that and check for updates and download updates and install updates and like, it's that. They didn't make a consoleized version of that or anything. Like, you can still pull up the fucking control panel and decide, if you're going to add users and administrators. Like, it's Windows.
Boom.
With all the great stuff that entails and all of the nightmare stuff that entails, Again, you need to know what you're getting into. Do you want a handheld that comes with Microsoft Paint pre-installed?
Hey, babies.
Maybe you do.
That's a little much.
And I again, this doesn't change any of the larger conversation about the handheld PC space, because I really want to see what this looks like 2 years from now. This very device, as well as, whatever devices shipped down the line, but like,
they would either plain or
I do think there's a way to do this.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if Windows 11 is going to be like, maybe that's too heavy of a lift, and they need to actually fork this in a real way and say it's not Windows anymore. It runs a lot of PC stuff, but we had to make some changes to consoleize this stuff, and so you can't do, like there's maybe there's something more they need to do. But I want to see what that is, because I do think there's a ton of potential in like, if they can nail the interface, if they can get this to a point where it's like, it's the best of both worlds, where it's, hey, we've consoleized this experience in ways that make it easy for you to do the things you need to do around gaming. And also, it is still a computer. Like if they can nail that, then I think it's, there's a ton of potential there. But it's still just potential. This device does not realize, this device doesn't do, and there's nothing here, that Windows full screen experience is not a meaningful step forward. And maybe 2 years from now, we'll feel differently about it and go like, oh, well, that was the first step on this journey, really, and, look at where they got to or whatever. But like, it just, there is nothing about this device that you load it up and go, they nailed it. There's 0% of nailing it
just like
on here.
like
It's a computer.
So far,
Let's
and
take
I bet you most of my kids
our last break
have
here. We'll
made
come
this
back.
same mistake
We'll
that
get
I'm
into the
catching
news.
right here.
Yeah.
You know, but then it's like there's just those kids that nothing slips by.
After this.
No, and that's just
Look,
like
sometimes
this
you
is normal
eat like
to me,
garbage.
you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
where I'm like, no,
Most
that
of the
makes
time.
sense.
No,
I
that's
was,
great.
I
That's
was
great.
All
I
of,
was
is it all of the time? Okay,
anticipating,
all right.
and this kid's
You
really,
might not
really
have the
smart,
healthiest
but
diet.
he
You might not be
didn't-
getting the key
Catch it,
nutrients
yeah.
that your
didn't
body
catch it, what he
needs.
needed to do
Yeah.
I
to
know
make
that
it
that
right.
is
And it's like, but then like, no,
occasionally
some
true
kids, it
in
doesn't,
my
they
life,
read every direction.
which is why
Yeah.
it's been nice
Like,
to
they
have
don't- it
AG1
doesn't trip 'em
as part
up.
of my routine.
Like, no, they
AG1 is a
Anyway,
you
so
just
no,
you
to
get
me,
a
it's
scoop
just
of it
like, no,
in the
'cause then I'm
morning. You
impressed.
throw it
I'm
into
like,
some
no,
water.
that's-
You
Pretty
shake
smart,
it up in a
yeah.
shaker
No, that's
bottle, or
pretty
you know, I don't know, you
impressive.
have
That's
you
not
get these
so-
little travel packs, which are awesome.
Like,
So you
no,
stir
just
it
for
up,
being
whatever,
so
mix it in
young.
some water,
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
slug it down,
Like, that's
and move
impressive.
on, man. It's clinically shown to support gut health and filling common nutrient gaps. It's got 5 probiotic strains and 75 plus vitamins and minerals. That's right, AG1 Next Gen replaces the need for a multivitamin and probiotics and more. And that's, you know, like with vitamins, how many are you throwing down? You know, it's like, here, take 3 of these in the morning, and you're walking around chewing gummies, and like, it's just like, whatever, man. Let me just throw this back and get moving. They've got new flavors.
There's a lot of ads.
In their clinically backed formula. They've got tropical,
But he
they've got
does
berry,
look. He
and
really
they've got
does.
citrus.
He doesn't
in
just
addition
read
to the
like
original
he tries
flavor.
to read them like.
AG1 Next Gen is helping to raise the standard with multiple gold standard clinical trials. You know, it's an industry where not everyone invests heavily in research, so AG1 is going to great lengths to continually invest in rigorous, peer-reviewed clinical trials. And it's less than $3 a day with a subscription. So you're getting, for that less than $3 a day, you are getting more than $7 of daily nutritional support. And that's nice.
That's where
Just
I'm going.
get that in your life. You know, are you out
I'm
there
gonna go
looking for a
date a
vitamin?
girl.
You know, vitamins are weird and expensive, and are you sure you're getting the right one? AG1 takes care of business so that you can take care of your business. And right now, you can get a free welcome kit, including a bottle of vitamin D and free AG1 travel packs. So, you know, normally it's like, hey, here's a big, you know, a big old thing of it and a scoop, and you're scooping it out of the thing and then put it in a metal container. But the travel packs are just like tear it open, dump it, go, which is great if you are on the move or if you're, you know, in another city, like you're traveling around doing all that stuff. You can still get it in. It's easy. Head to drinkag1.com/Jeff to get that free welcome kit, including a bottle of vitamin D and those free AG1 travel packs when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/Jeff. Warner Brothers Discovery has announced that it is putting itself up for sale.
Wow.
This comes after a zillion different configurations of the company and mergers and Warner Brothers and Discovery and HBO Max and then HBO Max again. And hey, we're going to split this into, you know, a studio business and a streaming business, which they are still doing. And all of that stuff. There was word going around that potentially Paramount would be interested in acquiring the company. They said to Paramount no, and then immediately said,
"Come on,
but
she has
we're
a
up
really
for sale."
cute
So who knows
baby
what that
boy.
actually
Sydney was
means.
super cute, I remember. But like, as far as the
do
3,
say
4-year-old,
that they have received,
hold
quote,
on, mom's
unsolicited
coming.
interest
I'm coming.
She's got a really
multiple
cute
parties for both the
kid
entire
voice.
company
Because
and
she's so
for
loud
Warner
too.
Brothers on its own.
Is that a knot?
I don't know which business that, you know, like Warner Brothers owns DC Comics, Warner Brothers owns Mortal Kombat, and the
DC
studio
Comics,
that produces
up for
it.
sale.
You know, they do have something of a gaming division still. They didn't shut it all down. Rocksteady and such. I don't know if that counts as part of the studio business. I assume that sticks with the studio business, and the streaming business ends up carving out into its own other thing. But if they're going to carve out, if they're interested in entertaining a bunch of different offers and potentially carving up the company, I wonder, gosh, man, there was a while there where it felt like Warner Brothers didn't want to be in the video game business anymore. And so there was a lot of talk about them selling off all of their studios or trying to find homes for all of their teams. And, whether it's like, okay, we're going to sell off, and they did end up peeling off, I think, a mobile game studio ended up going over to EA or something. But they did end up selling like one or two studios, but not all of the game stuff. They do also control a great deal of legacy properties, like the old Midway catalog became Warner Brothers's at some point. And so Warner controls Spy Hunter and Gauntlet and like Robotron and Smash TV. Like there's just a lot of, and a lot of kind of the Sinistar, I believe is like all that stuff is almost certainly still theirs. And so there's this weird pile of old things, which, is kind of an ongoing conversation here about a lot of companies. The kind of legacy things that they just are never touching ever again. And Warner certainly has more, it's more than its share of that. And so you do start to wonder, like, would anyone ever buy this stuff? As they're carving up the company, there is potentially an opportunity for like, hey, let us come in and buy all this ancient video game stuff that you are never going to touch. Like you're never going to make a movie based on Paperboy. Like, what are you doing? Sell us Paperboy so we can make a new Paperboy. It got me thinking, like, man, I had this thought of like, man, Atari should get in there and try to buy up all that IP. Like some of those games are originally Atari from the two sides of Atari, like Paperboy and Gauntlet are Atari games that because of the a batch of mergers and sales and all this other stuff in the 80s and 90s became two different Ataris and all that other weird shit. That had me thinking, like, man, it would be cool, like because Atari is in a lot of ways the only company left that is doing anything with any of this ancient stuff. They bought Digital Eclipse, and there's a. I guess what I'm saying is, get Mike Micah to make a new Spy Hunter. Yeah, I don't know. I would be like, I think that would be at least something would happen with some of that stuff. But also, like, NetherRealm is a Warner Brothers studio, and so what do you do with Mortal Kombat? If they truly decide to start selling the company and carving it up and doing all this other stuff, like, are we back to a situation where these video game studios kind of end up back in some sort of weird limbo with all of this, and that is very frustrating because it felt like that stuff just settled down after years of uncertainty around like what the hell is going to happen next at NetherRealm, and what are they going to do? Are they going to do another Injustice, or are they waiting because they don't even know if they're going to be in the same company as DC anymore, or like a lot of that kind of speculation that had been swirling around them. There was talk for a little bit there that I think. I don't know how real the talk was. I'm sure everyone talks to everyone, right? But the thought was like, maybe Microsoft would end up being a good home for NetherRealm, both because Matt Booty runs the studios over there, and he was, he is at ex-Midway, and also just like, I don't know, Mortal Kombat and Microsoft. There's some kind of something about that where that would make sense. In some weird way.
Is that real tier now?
But yeah.
Hold on.
That's that.
Car.
Or I mean, that basically like that talk all ceased because the Activision thing started. Like Microsoft was busy acquiring other stuff in a way that they obviously are not going to buy anything else right now for like antitrust reasons. Maybe those concerns are less concerning these days than maybe they were, but I still don't know that that's something that they would do. But I don't know, like, what would be a home for Mortal Kombat? Like, if another video game publisher had to come in and purchase the Mortal Kombat IP, I don't know that there's any left. Like 2K? 2K is like, you know, they're big enough, and, you know, 2K is fueled by Grand Theft Auto to a certain extent. Capcom. Yeah, Capcom would be, I think, a terrible home for that. You know, like people threw around EA at one point, like, oh, maybe EA picks it up, and you know, like, but that seemed like a bad idea then and a worse idea now. But you know, maybe Warner is not interested in selling the video game stuff. I don't know, but it seems like Warner is up for anyone who wants to talk to them about buying stuff. They're open for business, I guess. I don't know. We'll end up seeing eventually what becomes of this. But that was my thought of like, man, like, I guess we've reached a point where like Atari has done enough good weird deals that now I'm kind of like, man, maybe they should be the company to end up with this stuff, because maybe they would actually honor it and take care of it in some way. The documentaries they could do about Midway stuff. I mean, they have history. They already did a bunch of compilations for Midway back on the original Xbox and all that. You know, like they were there, man. That would be probably an easy thing for them to do. I mean, they're doing that Mortal Kombat collection right now. That's out real soon. That's out next week. I have not seen it yet. I'm curious about it. Speaking of Atari, one of the things they bought the rights to relatively recently is Intellivision. They acquired the rights to the Intellivision name and a lot of the original Intellivision games from the company formerly known as Intellivision, who was working on the Amico console. And depending on who you talk to, they'll tell you they're still working on that. Anyway, at some point they changed their name from Intellivision to Amico because they sold all the Intellivision off.
Does it feel better now?
Atari.
Good.
That is resulting in a couple of different things. Intellivision games are appearing
swing.
in some of the digital compilations as like a DLC, I believe.
That's a daddy moment.
Here, if they haven't already, right? Is it in? It's coming. No, the Namco stuff is coming to Atari 50.
Yep.
But the
Daddy's child
Intellivision stuff is already there. Is that what it is? They added Stern stuff. Okay. Anyway. They are going to produce a device called the Intellivision Sprint, which is a mini Intellivision console that will ship with a bunch of pre-installed games.
What happened?
In December for $149. It's going to have 4 or 5 games on it.
Because your legs are too cold.
So if you want to get a device and play Astro Smash on it, they will have versions of the original Intellivision controllers, as well as the little overlays that you would put over the phone.
Do you need pants? Is it chilly? You need pajama pants?
Did in each individual game.
Yeah.
And they've done these things for the Atari. They've done, there have been devices like this for the Intellivision.
Let's go turn on
plug and play Intellivision devices from like 20 years ago. But this is something that is, going to have the little.
I actually watched
some cool stuff.
I watched it happen.
If you care about television games,
on my spit. Because I wasn't expecting.
I don't know if you're going to be able to add games to it. That's kind of the thing. The Ataris they did had like USB ports on them.
Oh, she did. Well, you better tell her thank you. Hey.
Do stuff that way if you wanted to.
Was I going to go on a date?
Yes, it will have a USB port.
And tell your sister thank you because you made the mess too.
And yeah, I wonder if you'll just be able to like dump all your Intellivision, dump all your Intellivision cartridges, and play them off USB. But with 45 games installed, I mean, there's a few. I don't think the Intellivision version of Bump and Jump is on here, which that was a decent version of that game. It's they're making a mini Intellivision, much like they Much like they made a mini 2600, much like they made a mini Atari 400, all that stuff. Like it makes sense for them to make this device, and you know, for the people that like Intellivision games. I don't mean that to sound. Look, some console wars never end, and as much as they like to say Atari buying the Intellivision IP is the end of the very first console war, not with me, man. The Intellivision fucking sucks, and it kind of always did. The only thing I like about the Intellivision is the little dots they put inside the zeros. Other than that, the controller on that thing feels like trash, and most of the games are bad. It's not it was a bad system. I remember my cousin had one and going and playing it, and like normally I'm like, if I'm going somewhere and like someone's got video game stuff that I've never seen as a kid, I'm gonna sit there for as long as I can and mess with it and do everything. I remember the Intellivision being like, let's mess with this. Oh, okay, yeah, fuck this. You have Nickelodeon on your TV, and we don't have that yet. Let's go watch TV instead.
Turn on the TV and back for her. Yeah.
I'll put it's no Coleco.
Oh, you don't have. You can use my tablet.
You know what I mean? Like if we're doing
for you and her. Oh, go ahead.
It's the Atari 2600.
You're all done.
Then it's the Coleco.
Did you brush that hair?
Then it's the Intellivision.
Just brush it while you watch.
And then then it's probably like the Fairchild Channel F or something. Just at the bottom of that list.
That candy corn will choke you down, bro.
I might put a Channel F bowling above the Intellivision library. I don't know. The bowling game is pretty good. Odyssey, yeah, the Odyssey 2's in there somewhere too. I don't know, the Odyssey 2. Yeah, so I don't know. Like they're like. Against all odds, I suppose, we will eventually get some kind of console device in 2025 with the word Intellivision written on it. But as for the Amico, well, the jury's still out on that one. No, whatever, man. There's never gonna. It's just not going to happen. That's right. I'm out here predicting that hey. Write it down. October 21st, 2025. That I said, I don't think the Amico hardware is ever going to ship. I don't think they're ever going to actually make that thing. I don't think that's going to happen. At this point. The one that sold on eBay doesn't count. The one weird dev kit thing that whoever was selling it said they would not sell it to the haters. The BBC, makers of Monty Python's Flying Circus, and The Young Ones, they also report on news sometimes. They have written. I'm not going to call it a full expose. It's in a lot of ways it's more of a recap. But BBC Newsbeat wrote an article about Mind's Eye from Edinburgh's Build a Rocket Boy. This is in light of a lot of the layoffs around that. We talked last week about how there was a union that was basically saying, hey, you need to, you really laid these people off really poorly, like you need to do this, you need to recognize this union, you need to, admonishing the developer of Mind's Eye for how they handled things after the release of that game. This is not, like I said, it's not quite an expose, but it does kind of have another bit of story about the dumbest part about Mind's Eye, and that is Leslie Benzies, the founder and head, or one of the senior heads of the studio, claiming that the game was being derailed by saboteurs. Basically, in the introductory to their article, they're talking about a meeting that happened in July. This is basically 3 weeks post-launch. Addressing staff via video link, the company's boss, Leslie Benzies, assured them that there was a plan to get things back on track and said the negativity they'd seen was uncalled for. Then he pivoted, alleging internal and external forces had been working to scupper the Mind's Eye launch. Scupper's a very BBC kind of word, if you ask me. He told the assembled workers who'd been informed they'd faced redundancy just a week earlier that there would be an effort to root out saboteurs within the company. And they have a quote here. This is according to a transcript of the meeting verified by BBC. I find it disgusting that anyone could sit amongst us, behave like this, and continue to work here. Staff who worked at the studio say they were stunned, and not only by the strength of the language, they simply didn't believe him. As far as they were concerned, there was no conspiracy, and the reasons for Mind's Eye's failure were clear. It kind of goes on from there to get into, I think, stuff that, you know, like a lot of us have really talked about and has been really evident from just looking at the game itself. And they kind of go on to say, like, hey, you know, like during COVID, like they hired up and the salaries were competitive, and you know there was a lot of early optimism. A lot of people worked really hard, and then they were forced into crunch near the end of Mind's Eye once they pivoted from Everywhere, the initial thing they were working on, into Mind's Eye, which was meant to be an experience built inside of the Everywhere software.
Hey, Carl,
I'm hungry, baby. Let's go out and eat.
no problem.
They have quotes from people who worked there basically saying, like, every time they tried to raise concerns about the game, they would get laughed at by senior managers, and a lot of cases of, oh man, like it's always, if you have a ticket, if there's a ticket priority or a bug priority named after you, and you're like the head of a studio, this goes for websites as well. You probably fucked up in the way that you're managing your people. I'll read this bit from the article to give you some insight into what I'm talking about. Staff also accused Mr. Benzies of micromanaging the studio. A process allegedly illustrated in a video update loaded to the official Mind's Eye YouTube account. It shows the director instructing an onlooker to make a note of an issue he has noticed as he plays the game.
God damn, dude. No, just all the way across from the left lane. Turning right from the left lane is just a major traffic light. Nobody does that, dude. Nobody does that, dude. You end up getting fucking T-boned, bro. You end up getting T-boned.
Developers told Newsbeat these could range from minor cosmetic issues to instructions to ditch whole missions from the game, and there was an expectation that these would be given top priority. Ben, who's a former employee there, says, it didn't matter what else you were doing, what else was being worked on, the Leslie ticket had to be taken care of. Just a really textbook way to not manage a game or a studio or any of that. Like if you're just derailing people's work completely because you don't like a thing in the game, like that's something that you as the head of the studio probably should have noticed earlier. Just to, like, yeah. Jumping into the chat says, I think we found the saboteur. Yep, you nailed it. It was Leslie Benzies the whole time. She didn't
like the steakhouse.
That's real stylish, Jesse.
It goes on to describe the launch of the game and like a launch party and how that was like, this is like the last positive thing that happened at the studio, and how, you know, like now hundreds of people are being laid off. It's a sad story that you kind of look at and think like, man, this seems like it didn't need to go down this way, and that game development shouldn't happen this way, but
Jesus, guys.
But there you go.
GTA, dude. What's the excuse for that, man? No, literally walled me in an intersection. I just, what is possible?
Rockstar was at its like absolute.
No, it just, what the hell, dude?
Hundreds and hundreds of people. When
what is the what possible excuse
jumping off of bridges
did you have for totally walling me in an intersection to where I have to do an 8-point parallel?
Of holy water when they were throwing
so strange, dude. So strange.
And lodging them behind televisions because that's where the evil energy was. Leslie Benzies came out of that. Do you think that he learned any lessons when it came time to start his own studio? Doesn't sound like it. Because I don't think even Rockstar works that way anymore. I don't know. Maybe there's still a bottle of water lodged behind a television mounted in a corner of the room. That was a fun story I heard a number of years ago. But holy shit. saboteur, right? The last story that's been going around, there's like a couple of stories that have been reported and debunked and just like weird stuff, right? There was a quote attributed to Miyamoto about like, oh, it's, like basically people were trying to like bend in a way that said like, oh, the reason why Miyamoto is more interested in making movies like this, Pikmin video or whatever, like it's like, well, games get old and then they don't run anymore, like implying that like it was bent to imply that movies are better than games because you can just watch them. But the quote was taken completely out of context from some completely other thing, and so like that made the rounds like a handful of times in different formats as people went like, oh, what the fuck, game preservation of this and that, and then like oh wait, he didn't actually say that thing at all, and it certainly didn't happen in the context that it was being used in, and like someone is being really shitty about it or whatever. And then that made the round, I don't know, layers and layers of discourse for social media, I guess. But at the end of the day, like much ado about nothing on that front. The other thing that maybe has a little bit more meat on its bones is that reports went around that Halo, that the upcoming projects coming out of the Halo studio were going to be largely products of generative AI.
So interesting.
And that AI was being used heavily at every level of the studio, and all the, there was just a ton of reporting around that. It was like both a remake of the original Halo and whatever the next project is. And there was someone who had left the studio who posted like something very like did some real like LinkedIn style vague posting about like, oh, my time at the studio was this, and I think that it shouldn't be this way, and that kind of got lumped into some of these stories about the AI stuff. That has kind of been debunked to an extent as well, or like it seems like maybe that stuff was poorly sourced. Jez Corden got out there, he's was he Windows Central, and posted pretty definitively in his reporting anyway. To say Halo is not using generative AI in its game development, art assets, etc. for its next game. Microsoft has no mandate on studios to use Gen AI for games. I'm sure it's being used for emails and shit like that, but they're not making a Gen AI game here.
Please don't call me.
Take that what you will. Jess Gordon's reporting on Microsoft stuff is generally well sourced, I would say. And it also, my understanding, unless something has changed, is my understanding is that it is true that Microsoft does not mandate its studios use AI. Like they're not going into game teams and saying you got to use this stuff. Like they did that thing with Ninja Theory a little bit. That was more of an experiment, just like what could we use this for? What could we do with this? And I'm sure that there are probably tech teams and things like that are thinking about that, because obviously Microsoft has been straight up poisoned by AI at the highest level. And so, yeah, I'm sure that there's like a lot of experiments and ideas and like, oh, could we use it for this and use it for this? But my understanding is that it is true that there is no mandate that you must use it. I'm sure at a high level, at an exec level, they would love it if you could find a way to use AI to make a game, just because they could use that to beat the drum of AI, because Microsoft has such a vested interest in that shit now. But as far as like the story of like Halo is being made largely by AI tools, that doesn't seem like it's the case. I also don't think that the tools are advanced enough to actually do that. If someone sat down and said, hey, we're actually going to do this, I think they would find them to be of limited use, personally. When I look at what it's capable of and what it's not capable of, and the number of humans you would need to involve in making sure that that work actually worked and was decent and everything else, like it's just not. Like, no, man. It's like the same people that tell you like, oh, if you AIs will lie to you. Like if they think you're trying to shut them down, they'll lie. It's like, no, it's just stringing words together. It's a fancy, it's like not even like, it's like if you told a friend on the internet, hey man, I'm going to kill you. It would say, please don't. The AI just read that on the internet and just like regurgitates it to be, it's not a real thing.
If you
It's not a real
eat grass,
thing.
you're sweaty, Chris. Your choice, sir.
I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see what the next Halo, like, that doesn't mean that the next, like, Halo project is going to be incredible or broken or, you know, like, there's nothing about the quality of that game in any of this, right? So, or even the nature of those projects. So, yeah, I don't, it remains to be seen. I would be very interested to see what the next Halo is going to end up being. I do think that it was an artist, right? It was an artist that I think left the studio and had some really, again, some very vague, but like negative toned things to say about his experience. Like, you know, oh, there'll come a time when I can tell these stories, which, you know, is what everyone says when they leave a studio on bad terms, or like leave in a huff or what have you. So we'll kind of see, but I don't think that, again, like just getting out there and saying they're not using AI tools to make this game does not automatically mean that the game is going to be amazing or anything like that. So I'd be curious to know what the heck, especially after Halo Infinite, because, you know, at some point a team thought that Halo Infinite was going to be the answer to that question. What the fuck is Halo? Right? And I think Halo Infinite was really cool in a lot of ways. I think that's the biggest shame about all of this is I think that like Halo Infinite has been kind of caught up in some, like, where it gets a lot more shit than it deserves, for stuff that, like, oh man, it really, you know, for how they launched it and what it launched as and all of that, and the ways in which it was funky at launch and broken in some cases in terms of multiplayer progression and connections, and like there was a lot of messed up stuff with Halo that it took them a very long time to get their hands on it and say, no, stop breaking. Like, they got it to a place. But it was a fun campaign, man. It was neat. It was not a full open world, but like I enjoyed my time with that Halo campaign. It was a good fucking time. And so, like, I don't know, man. Like, it just feels like the sentiment about Halo Infinite these days. And I'm sure that there are people who are playing it and just happily playing it. There are probably people who are playing it who are very unhappily playing it because that's just modern games. But like, I think that there was some really exciting stuff in there. The Drunkest says in chat, that campaign from a story perspective was a massive bummer. Yeah, so I guess from a story perspective, as a sequel to the game that came before it, yes, I agree with you. When we talk about where the Halo franchise was prior to Halo Infinite and the story that it seemed like they were getting ready to tell, it is not unlike Tron Ares, where at some point they said, yeah, it's kind of still about that, but it doesn't touch on any of the shit you care about, really. Like the Halo stuff, the Cortana stuff that they could have done more with was not really addressed well. And, you know, there's just yes. Halo Infinite did not do the thing you wanted to do if you care about the previous Halo story. It left it in a place where I'd be like, yeah, you know, I would maybe, you know, like, curious to see where they go from there or whatever. But like, you know, at the end of the day, what the fuck is Halo? Right? I think we say it with all the time with these kind of like long-running franchises that feel like they are now from a bygone era, where we just haven't seen one in a long time. And obviously the corporate circumstances around Microsoft and Call of Duty's influence on Xbox game studios and what they output and everything. You know, there is an element of this is just like, yeah, well, like, shit, like, we own Call of Duty now, so I guess our, like, actual, like, at a high level, our interest in, like, Halo as a long-running multiplayer franchise is probably not what it used to be, because we own this other thing that is way bigger. So what the fuck is Halo? So what the fuck is Halo, right? Especially in a world where Call of Duty is creeping into the future again. You know what I mean? So,
wonderful day.
Yeah, I that is a question I would very much like to know the answer to. Like, what do they think the future of Halo really is? And I think they're supposed to be teasing something pretty soon, aren't they? But yeah, man, there's still the Gears game in the works that hasn't even. Does that even have a? Does that even like? Does Gears of War E-Day have a? No, I guess it's just 2026. They haven't really given it a proper release window or date yet. That's another thing, man. That's always the question, right? But I feel like enough time has passed, and games and the types of games, especially in the action space and the shooter space and the multiplayer shooter space, like that stuff is so crowded and so much of it has changed that like the idea of, hey, dude, here's a new Gears of War. Like, is that something people want as a competitive game? I mean, like the campaign and, like I would be up for a new Gears campaign if it's like fun. And certainly the co-op modes in a Gears game have been wonderful at times.
Loose and comfy. Keep going.